Coverage of the GOVX 200 at the Phoenix Raceway for today's running of this NASCAR Xfinity Series race on a little Saturday evening, heading into Saturday night action out on the West Coast. Our first of two races on a mini West Coast swing for NASCAR on both the Xfinity and the Cup Series sides of things. And again, the duel in the desert here today for this 200 lap, 200 mile race at this flat 1 mile oval in Avondale, Arizona. Alex Bowman, hometown native, going to be on the pole, one of the few Cup regulars or the drivers pulling double duty in this weekend's Xfinity and Cup Series action. Racing today, he'll be leading the field in that number 17 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. And as we go through the rest of the starting order, as I welcome you into this one, before we get cars out on the track to begin this race shortly. It did just give the command to fire engines. Went through the national anthem here moments ago. So on row number one, I mentioned Alex Bowman on the pole. Well, Sheldon Creed, a former winner here of this very racetrack, is going to be starting in the second, or sorry, I was thinking Cole Custer when I saw the 00 there. Sheldon Creed has not won an Xfinity Series race, but he will be starting in the second place position. On the front row, SHR has won here twice in the last couple seasons. Sammy Smith, the former winner at Phoenix from the spring race a season ago, will be 2 seasons ago, will be on the inside of row number 2. And Connor Zillage, last week's winner at COTA, also in that row. In row number 3, Jesse Love, who won at Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and William Sawallic, who comes into the race 12th in points. Nick Sanchez with an early season mishaps, if you so speak, as he will be starting inside of row 4, 20th in points coming into the day for him. And Eric Almirola going to be making his second Xfinity start of the season, also in that row. In row number 5, it'll be Taylor Gray and Austin Hill. Hill, the Daytona winner. Gray still looking for his first win of the young season, his rookie season of which here at the NASCAR Xfinity Series level. In row number 6, it'll be Jeb Burton and Dean Thompson. Great start to the season for Burton, top 10 in points through the first 3 races. In row number 7, it'll be Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier. Sam Mayer comes into this race 4th in points, Justin Allgaier just behind him. In row number 8, it'll be Josh Williams, who's top dozen in the points standing so far, as well as in that row, it looks like our leaderboard just changed a little bit. Let me go to the raw feed. I think we got cars rolling out on the track, and it just messed everything up on me. Josh Williams and Brandon Jones will be in row number 8 for that one. Sorry for that. The raw feed, or I didn't have the raw feed up, but the race leaderboard, for whatever reason, was starting to change on me there. In row number 9, it'll end up being Daniel Dye and Blaine Perkins. Row number 10 for Jeremy Clements and Christian Eckes. Harrison Burton, who is also in the top dozen in points still through the first 3 races, will be inside of row number 11. Josh Bilicki to the outside. Brendan Poole with Carson Kvapil, who put on a show last week at COTA, needs a good run here today as he's fallen behind in the early season point standings. He'll start in row 12. Row 13 will be Anthony Alfredo and Parker Retzlaff. Thomas Annunziata making his first start of the season inside of row 14 alongside Ryan Ellis. Nick Lights and Ryan Sieg starting deeper in the field in row 15. Behind them in row 16 will be Matt DiBenedetto and Kyle Sieg. Chris Wright with Mason Massey in row 17, and then row 18 behind them is Dawson Cram and Garrett Smithley. Rounding out the field in row 18, Joey Gase and Greg Van Als will round out the field. That wasn't my best rundown of going through the starting lineup for this race, so I apologize for that. But we will get better, and I will get better as this race will start here in a matter of moments. Our stage splits today, 45, 45, and 110. That is the same stage splits that we usually see for these 200-lap Xfinity Series races, most of which are on 1.5 miles. So this is relatively a shorter race, with this being on a 1 mile oval, having the 200-lap race length. They will not have to pit for fuel or tires at all in the first stage, as well as stage 2 during green flag conditions. And the final stage, they will be a little bit outside their fuel window when they do start stage 3. But if we get a caution in the middle of it, that'll pretty much erase any sort of a shot that we'll end up seeing any green flag pit stops this afternoon. 60-degree temperatures, sunny skies as we usually see in Phoenix. Relatively cool for this time of the year. In this very race, it'll be a little warmer during the Cup race tomorrow, about 10 degrees warmer at the Speedway. And the Xfinity Series usually puts on pretty good races at Phoenix in recent years. I'd almost argue that this has been the best series to race at Phoenix. Well, the best series maybe at most tracks to race, but at Phoenix, they tend to put on a pretty good race. Justin Allgaier got his redemption last season in this race a year ago. Blew a tire while leading. And it was a commanding multiple second lead with just 6 laps to go. Pretty much had the race won until that crash. But he ended up getting the race win and the championship later in the fall. Looking to double down on that and get the spring race win here today. Again, he does start inside the top 10. Allgaier, one of only 2 former Phoenix Xfinity Series race winners that are in the field today. The other one would be Sammy Smith, who again won the 2023, spring race back in his only season in the Xfinity Series with Joe Gibbs Racing. Ty, Frank Powers, Patty at Rumdy Creations, Geraldo Custodio, thanks for tuning in. You guys are the first in the chat down below. Appreciate everybody that has come from the practice and qualifying stream that we wrapped up about an hour ago here on KRC for the NASCAR Cup Series. Again, congratulations to William Byron for getting his first pole of 2025, second at Phoenix. Chat poll is open as it has been since several minutes before the start of the stream. 15 votes have been casted for who you think is going to win today's race. And your voting options are between Alex Bowman, Justin Allgaier, Eric Almirola, or somebody other than those 3. Pretty tight in the early poll right now at the 16 votes and counting. 31% taking other or Bowman. And Almirola Allgaier at 19% of the votes. See Patty in the chat taking Eric Almirola. I'm going to take Alex Bowman for the win today. Although he hasn't ran great in the NASCAR Cup Series level here, these cars specifically are going to be very similar to that of what he did have his first run in 2016 at Hendrick Motorsports, where he qualified on the pole, finished 6th. And his first run at Hendrick Motorsports, or one of his first runs at HMS in that 88 car, filling in for the then injured Dale Earnhardt Jr. Home track, I'm taking Alex Bowman today. I predicted the winner of the Xfinity race the last 2 weeks, so I'm 2 for 3 to start the season. Give me the pole sitter, Bowman. I think it's going to be between him and Justin Allgaier. If Allgaier's got anywhere near the long run speed he had in both races here last season, that's going to pan out well for him, and I think he's going to be a contender for the win. Interested to see what Connor Zilisch does from row 2. First Phoenix start in the Xfinity Series. Coming off a win a week ago, already locked into the playoffs. When we talk about the playoffs of the Xfinity Series side of things, we have had 3 different winners in the first 3 races, and only 12 teams, 12 drivers qualify. So just 9 spots open as we're only in the 4th race of the season. 26 race regular season, which is the same as the Cup Series, but less drivers qualify because there's 3 less playoff races. Could be running out of spots here shortly if we get another new winner here today that is another Xfinity Series regular. Bowman is the only driver running full-time in the Cup Series that is running this race today as well. Versus last week, we had several drivers from the Cup level running. And even in the opener at Daytona, we had a couple of them as well pulling double duty that weekend. That chat poll, by the way, stays open until the end of Stage 2 for who you think is going to win the race today, as it usually does. It will be going green this time by. Pace car pulls to pit road off of turn 2. And we'll get this GOVX 200 underway. This race is going to fly by. Definitely one of the shorter ones of the season for the Xfinity Series. 200 miles is not a lot of time. It's a relatively fast, flat 1 mile oval as well. Some long straightaways, heavy braking. And who's going to make the most out of it here this afternoon? Green flag is in the air, and the hometown native Alex Bowman, home state native, I should say specifically, Alex Bowman going to lead the field to the green. Bit of a stack up from row 2 and just behind them out of the restart zone as we get the green flag. Nearly everybody down to the apron on the opening lap. We'll be seeing that every restart all the way throughout today's race. Relatively calm at the front of the field. A little bit of 3 wide action down on the bottom. Taylor Gray Almost squeezing the 21 of Austin Hill. Hill maybe made a little bit of contact with Sammy Smith from behind off the exit of turn 2. Bottlenecked the inside up for a couple of rows. Gray made the 3-wide pass on both drivers and now is underneath his teammate in the 19 of Almirola. Still 3-wide middle just behind them is the 48 of Nick Sanchez between Sam Mayer and Austin Hill. Opening lap led by the pole sitter Alex Bowman. 00 of Sheldon Creed in second just there behind him after qualifying second. Austin Hill is now shuffled to the outside lane through 1 and 2 on lap 2. Trying to regain some of the positions that he had lost there on lap 1. Definitely struggling. You can see the wheel moving around a ton for Austin Hill in that close-up shot off the exit of turn 2. Now he's 3-wide bottom. He's all over the place. He's top. He's bottom. Actually, no, that was Jesse Love that was down on the bottom. They have the same exact, well, maybe not the same exact paint scheme. It looks very similar from the top. Hopefully I don't get the 2 and 21 mixed up too many times today, if any at all. Bowman setting the quick pace at the front of the field. Already has the fastest lap in the first 4 laps completed now. So a couple drivers here on this 4th lap are going. Plus the body of the, well, not really like the body, but parts and pieces underneath the car with how low these things sit nowadays. Definitely take quite a bit of damage when taking that run down to the apron through the dogleg. It's very violent to run down there. Although effective, can't be done for an extremely long period of time. Showing a replay of contact that was made between Jesse Love and Connor Zilic the last lap, and that allowed for Sammy Smith to get by both of them for 5th. Zilic is backwards a couple spots from the start of the race. Jesse Love second in points with a win through the first 3 races. Moving backwards just a bit off the start. Nick Sanchez really looking loose in that 48 car. Rear of his car was sliding out from around, and speaking of loose, man, Taylor Gray fighting a loose handling condition down in 1 and 2. He was all sorts of sideways, had to give the spot up to Eric Almirola behind him and then some. Still holds on in 4th, but interval time between him and the leader changed quite a bit that last lap. 28.805 that last lap. That was a half a second quicker than the leader Bowman. Slower, excuse me. Half a second slower than the leader Bowman. That thing was really starting to yaw out on him midway through 1 and 2. And it took him most of that corner before he was able to get it corrected and straighten the car out. 1 second lead for Bowman ahead of Creed at the front of the field. Almirola is closing in on the 00 for second. Almirola won at Martinsville last season on a flatter racetrack. And when we look at his Cup Series statistics, he always ran pretty well at these shorter, flatter ovals as well. Of course, had that win at New Hampshire late in his Cup career, and expect him to be a threat for the win today, hence the reason he's in that driver poll down in the chat below. First commercial break on the CW, lap number 9 of today's race. Bowman with a 2.5 lead. Eric Almirola just took over second place as he cut the dog leg through the center of the front stretch. Well clear by a couple of car lengths and holds on to that lead and then some through turns 1 and 2. So now that he's up to second, we really get to see the lap time difference between Almirola and Bowman. That last lap, Almirola was actually about 1/10 of a second quicker than Bowman at the front of the field. Justin Allgaier is already up to 5th place, gaining a handful of positions, 9 of which actually, even more than that. 9 positions gained from the start of the race for Allgaier, who didn't qualify particularly well. Definitely one of his better racetracks. 10 positions gained for Parker Retzlaff for JD Motorsports in the 4 car. Pretty solid start for him as well. 15 positions lost for William Sawalich. He's all the way back in 21st after starting in 5th, as he has dropped the most positions since the start of the race. Very minimal big gainers here in the opening dozen laps. Lap after Almirola had gotten a second, Bowman a little bit quicker. So kind of trading lap times at the front of the leaderboard right now between Bowman and Almirola in those top 2 positions. Still back in a little bit of traffic. Justin Allgaier was also a couple tenths slower than the leader Bowman. Side by side between Connor Zilic and the 54 of Taylor Gray. Zilic should be able to make the pass. Grace Carter looks a lot looser compared to those that are in front of him in the running order right now. Gets that cut through turns 1 and 2. Kind of diamond the corner off. Wider entrance. Gets down to the apron. Got the 88 a little arrow loose there through the center of 1 and 2. Tucked on that left rear corner panel, but he still drives off. And speaking of arrow loose, next corner, Jesse Love. All over that left rear corner panel of gray as he wiggles, and Love will move on by. Definitely going to have to make some massive adjustments to that 54 car to get that thing corrected, because he has been sideways since the opening laps. Still in the opening laps. He's going to be lucky to make it all the way through lap 45 if this stays green the entire stage. Struggling mightily. Allgaier had gotten by his teammate Sammy Smith recently for fourth, so now he's up 10 positions from the start of the race. Almirola to get to second, up 6 spots after starting in 7th place, though 1.8 seconds off the lead, and again that last lap almost a 10th quicker for the leader Bowman. And in fact, Allgaier in 4th ran the second fastest lap, just quicker by 5 1/1000ths of a second to that of Almirola. Already seen quite a bit of dip in lap time. The tire wear on these cars. Got a bump and run. It looks like Sam Mayer all over the back of the 21 of Austin Hill, getting through turns 3 and 4 that last time by. These two are battling outside the top 10. Hill lost a couple positions from the start. Mayer up a couple himself. That pass was for 11th. Top 10 in the running order right now. Again, Alex Bowman in the lead. Eric Almirola 2nd. Sheldon Creed is 3rd. Justin Allgaier 4th. Sammy Smith in 5th. Connor Zilic is 6th. Jesse Love 7th. Taylor Gray 8th. Nick Sanchez 9th. And Brandon Jones rounds out our top 10. William Wiley, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Again, 19 likes. Our goal is to get to 50 on this NASCAR Xfinity Series live commentary stream, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Still caution-free in the early laps of today's race. A little less than 10 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Already closing in on halfway through stage 1, though, with this fast race pace to open things up. Two-second lead built up for Bowman over Almirola. Allgaier has not yet gotten a Creed, but he's getting close, just within a couple tenths of him for 3rd. Over 4 seconds off the leader. Almirola starting further back. Obviously, we knew it was going to be tough for him to try to get to the front and win this opening stage, but he's got some good speed in that race car. 3 favorites that were in the chat poll definitely look like the 3 fastest, at least through stage 1. We'll see if any other teams will be able to make some adjustments and get their cars closer to those at the front of the field. Track's not going to go through a whole lot of changes by way of daylight. This race starting in the daytime out west, and it will end in the evening hours. Track temp might drop just a little bit, but the sun's going to be out the entire time, so it's going to be a relatively slick track despite somewhat cooler temps than we're used to seeing here in Phoenix. Justin Allgaier finally catching the 0-0 Sheldon Creed as they battle side by side for 3rd. Allgaier down on the bottom. First made that pass attempt through 3 and 4, went to the apron through the dog leg. Clear into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if the 0-0 of Creed tries to cross over, but he's not going to be able to get alongside Allgaier. And Allgaier should drive away from him now. Allgaier's about 4.7 seconds off of the leader Bowman after making that pass. Lost a half a second to him in the process of making that pass, so it just goes to show how much time you lose battling with somebody, even though he got around Sheldon Creed relatively quick. Sam Mayer catching another car in front of him inside the top 10 as he tries to continue to press forward. That passes for 10th place on Taylor Gray, who continues to go backwards. He's actually only down 2 positions from the start of the race, but he was as high as 4th. Actually 3rd place on that initial start. So he's dropped 7 positions since things really started to settle in after a couple of laps. Brandon Jones up 7 spots to the top 10. 12 spots gained now for Parker Retzlaff in the 4 cars. He just continues to muscle forward. Swalich has gained a couple of those positions back after dropping 15 on the start of the race. He's up to 18th, and he is down still net loss of 12 positions from the beginning. Gray still somewhat keeping close to the back of Mayer after getting past for 10th. Stage points obviously only awarded to the top 10, so really doing his best to try to hang on here. Bowman's been working his way through lap traffic at the tail end of the field. Thomas Annunziata, Matt DiBenedetto, Greg Van Olsen, Garrett Smithley are all at least 1 lap down. And in fact, Annunziata might have pulled off the racetrack already just 3 laps in, it appears, as he is currently 19 laps down. Matt DiBenedetto a few laps down already, so he might have pulled the pit road with some sort of an issue as well. Both those drivers started towards the back portion of the field. William Wiley, thanks for tuning in. Ty's taking Austin Hill for the win. Creed scheme looks good. I do like the Sheldon Creed paint scheme for this weekend. You got meat on the side of the car. Gets the appetite. Any kind of paint schemes that get your appetite going. Man, I can't talk today. That I mean, especially this hour for me. It's 5:30. It's gonna be prime dinner time as soon as this race is done for me. If he's in contention for the win, ladies, really gonna get my appetite going. Fastest car on the racetrack right now is actually the 3rd place car of Justin Allgaier. He dropped a 29.43 for that last lap. It was almost a full 10th quicker than the leader, Bowman, as the leaders worked through lap traffic. Now he was 2/10 quicker this last lap, 29.4 to Bowman's 29.6. Bowman's still faster than Almirola, but not as quick as the 3rd place car. So look out for Justin Allgaier. He definitely seems to have the quickest car in the field of those towards the front here in the early laps. Second most positions gained from the start of the race, only 1 behind Parker Retzlaff. But Parker did start deeper in the field, of course, so that is the difference there. Cooking ribs right now, too. Yeah, see, that's good. Some good stuff. Got about 15 laps to go in stage 1. Still caution free. Lap 30 of 200 is being complete at the line here.
Just past the halfway point, opening stage, the GOVX 200 NASCAR Xfinity team was doing battle. 4th race 2025. Alex Bowman making his only start of the year, and he's back. Allen won the pole, dominating the race so far and already working his way through lap traffic. Now, there are a few drivers that had their work cut out for them when we went green today. Among them, Ryan Sieg didn't have a great qualifying run. When he goes back to the garage after qualifying earlier today, that splitter got caught on the lip of his garage area, tore it off. They had to go to a backup car. I mean, that's such a bad break.
Destroyed his car.
Yeah.
Completely destroyed it.
And what I would say is you have like 2 hours to flip that car and get it ready. Such a challenge. Everybody in the Ford camp was over there helping, getting it where it needed to be. He's done a nice job. Coming to the back, he's running 20th. Not the only driver that started this race from the rear. I mentioned William Sawalich had the change on the fuel pump. He's worked his way from the back all the way inside the top 20. He is 17th, is William Sawalich. And then I also need to mention Matt DiBenedetto, because Matt had to change an engine. He went from 31st to the back, qualified 31st, drops to the rear. Unfortunately, they already had a tire go down. He made a pit stop from 26, so he's a couple of laps down.
I think you see right there the 17 car of Alex Bowman in some lap traffic. This is good for him to experience that, so you can kind of get an idea of what his car is going to have when they have the stage rate, they can adjust to it. If you just lead the whole time, but you never get in traffic, it's hard to adjust your car if you get shuffled back, on one of these restarts. But right now, he's getting to kind of get an idea, a good feeling of what he has in dirty air.
And he's just setting a torrid pace. He's driven out almost a 3-second gap all there. I mean, he's just never relenting on the speed of the 17 car. And it was really kind of what we saw in qualifying. His lap was 10 tenths faster than the field, essentially. So it's just really the speed they brought from Hendrick Motorsports from Alex Continental right now. It's been very impressive. But you mentioned it. That's half the battle in this stuff. Then there's the traffic, there's the stage breaks, there's pit stops, there's the possibility of strategy. This car is obviously good in clean air, but what will it do in traffic later on?
He put Blaine Perkins a lap down. Blaine coming off a top 10 finish last week, and he also went by Mason Bassett.
How about that guy? Greg Ives on the left, crew chief in 17 car. It's been around forever. Back in the day, Jimmy Johnson, engineer originally. He's done quite a job.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Ives is one of the great leaders of this team, and Adam Wall has been playing a big role with them as well. So they've got a very dynamic group over there leading this 17. They're out front now as we hit 12 to go in the stand.
Another commercial break here on the CW early on. Alex Bowman with this early race lead, 2.5 seconds ahead of Eric Almirola. Justin Allgaier is 2.9 seconds back in third, quickly catching the second place car ahead of him. Sheldon Creed is 6 seconds off the lead in fourth, 6.9 seconds back for Connor Zilic in fifth, and 9.5 seconds off the lead is Sammy Smith in sixth. Jesse Love 10.6 seconds back in seventh, 11 seconds off the lead is Nick Sanchez in eighth, 11.5 seconds back, Brandon Jones in ninth, and Sam Mayer, 13.4 seconds off the lead, rounds out the top 10. That is the early going running order for this one here. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC, the GOVX 200 at Phoenix. Yeah, they've had 3 commercials already in the early going of this race. They've all been side by side, but yeah, they're definitely front loading it, to say the least. Take our first one. Late in the stage, they're going to come back shortly, and we're going to be close to the end of it. Almirola's starting to close in a little bit late in the stage, but I think Bowman's more managing the gap back to the cars behind him at this point. Still got 2 seconds on him with about 6 laps to go. Maybe some drivers racing Bowman a little harder at the tail end of the lead lap, trying to do what they can to hold on for these last handful of laps now. Scrolling down our leaderboard here, last car in the lead lap is Anthony Alfredo in 26th currently. At 29.6 seconds off the lead. That last lap was a 29.9 for Bowman, so should be able to lap him pretty soon. This next lap, I would imagine. Lead down to 1.7. Austin Hill and Taylor Gray now battle for position. Hill making the pass. Gray goes backwards another spot. Gray falls to 13th after again getting up to as high as third on that initial start of this race. Parker Retzlaff up 15 positions to 11th. Great run for Retzlaff right now for JD Motorsports. He's had a couple of solid runs in these first few races to start the season, and obviously a new team for him as well. Leaving Jordan Anderson Racing after last season. Retzlaff having some good runs. Hill making a pass on the 20 car as well. So now 2 JGR Toyotas in his rear view mirror. Oh, that's the second time I've mistaken the 2 and the 21. They look so similar. I really got to focus in on it. Those are usually the colors of Austin Hill's car almost every weekend. Not used to that with the 2. Usually it's the wheeling colors. Whether that was Sheldon Creed the last couple of years, or obviously Jesse Love between last year and already early this season as well. 4 laps to go in stage 2. Stage 1. I apologize for that, man. I've made a couple of mistakes already on the broadcast. Oh, and Jesse Love, Austin Hill. We'll get better as the race goes on. It's the first race of the weekend. Sheldon Creed starting to move backwards here, losing valuable stage points late in this first stage. Connor Zilic going to get by both him and Sammy Smith. So Zilic up to fourth. Creed falls to fifth just behind him. On my screen, they have side-by-side action still, but it's got like, it's the same camera. It's the same camera on both splits. It's the way they would have ended up having it during the side-by-side commercial break, but oh, there we go. Now it's just one. Well, now hang on, we got some blackout flickering going on in the CW. Now it's just one screen. There we go. Bond 1771, thanks for tuning in. How many times am I going to end up messing up Jesse Love and Austin Hill's names in this race? We've got two of them in the first stage already. As long as it's not a crucial call down the line at the finish of the race. Or intense battle for position between the two of them or something. It'd be tough. Lead down to 1.3 seconds. We're on the final lap of the stage, though. Bowman definitely just managing that gap late. Surprised Allgaier didn't try to get a little bit closer to Almirola there for second. He got to within a half a second of him with about a dozen laps to go on the stage, but couldn't get any closer. Not sure if he was able to just not manage the lap traffic as good. Green, white, checkered flag in the air for the first time today, though. Pole sitter Alex Bowman leads every lap of Stage 1. Gets the Stage 1 victory. Eric Almirola second, Justin Allgaier third, Connor Zilic fourth, and Sheldon Creed fifth. Sixth was Sammy Smith, Nick Sanchez seventh, Brandon Jones eighth, Jesse Love ninth, and Sam Mayer will round out our top 10 for Stage 1. Frank Powers, welcome to the stream. I think I might have shouted you out already. Sorry if I didn't. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream also. Where Retzlaff fall to? 21st. What happened to Parker Retzlaff? He was in 11th there late in the stage, and now he's back to 21st. He was up 15 positions at one point. And I noticed he wasn't in 11th anymore. Austin Hill get into him because Austin Hill's at 11th. Oh no. Hopefully we get an update on that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Anybody in the chat, for whatever reason, knows what happened to Retzlaff there, let me know. He scored 21st at the end of the stage. He was up to 11th. He was the biggest mover up until that point. Not anymore. Just Allgaier, most positions gained throughout the entirety of Stage 1. Started 14th, got to 3rd. Then a couple seconds of the Stage 1 winner, Alex Bowman. Obviously, first stage win of the season for Bowman on the Xfinity Series. This is his first Xfinity race of 2025. Not sure exactly how many he's going to be running this year. Saw the 17 car on track last week with William Byron behind the wheel at COTA. Bowman definitely putting on a stronger performance today than that of Byron last week. First pit stops of the day. This will be interesting as well. Play golf before the race this afternoon. Plus 476. That's pretty good. I'm hoping to get out on the golf course. It's supposed to be warmer during the week, so hopefully they start opening stuff up this week. Ideally, if they could do it on Monday, that'd be great, but I think the ground's still going to be too soft where I live.
NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. Truework, upgrade to the world's most technical performance workwear, and by GOVX. If you have a military background, visit govx.com. GOVX, savings for those who serve. You know, GovX has come in, not only put their name on the race, but they've taken the second and third step to getting involved. That is outstanding. Pit Road is open. Let's go down to Progressive Pit Road. Here's Kim.
And Eric Almirola finishing that stage in the second position. He said, no grip, just plowing. You see the adjustment there. He said he fired off good. Needed a little turn and rear lateral help. Just a half a number rear security, one number turn, 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel in addition to those adjustments. His biggest fear in this race was chaotic restarts. He's going to get chance at it here shortly, Dylan.
Justin Allgaier was on the move in the first stage. Just said he was too tight in the apex, but really good on corner entry, but free off. That sounds like typical Phoenix. Kind of the same story for Alex Bowman. Free in. They got tight in the center and free off. He said they weren't too bad, though, in the 17. Here's the race off pit road on the right of the screen.
Pit Road's going to play a big role today. And our race off Progressive Pit Road +1 for Eric Almirola. 88. Having big issues here. Came in running inside the top 5. And he's going to have a ton of ground to make up. We'll follow up there. Continue
Wow.
from Phoenix.
Separate pit boxes.
Yeah, that's at number 1 pit stall.
Yeah.
It's claimed a lot of drivers. What a challenge. Connor Zilla.
Slid in not only too deep, it kind of looked, I mean, they were never going to be able to change the tires on the left side, even if they didn't run the hose over. He was so close to the wall, so definitely had to kind of pit maneuver his way out of there and reset. We'll see where Zilich fell on the leaderboard, but I would imagine he's got to be very deep in the field now. So he was 4th at the end of stage 1. Trying to find him. 21st. 17 positions lost on pit road during that stop for the 88 of Zilich. Last week's winner. And Eric Almirola won the race off of pit road, so he will be the leader. Alex Bowman, who went in position 1 after leading every lap of stage 1 from the pole, is now going to be in position number 2. And the lap 45 stage break is our first caution of the race today. So no cautions for incidents so far. Top couple rows on the restart, you're going to have Eric Almirola out in front, then Alex Bowman in 2nd, Brandon Jones 3rd, Sheldon Creed 4th after leaving the pits. First pit stops of the day in the books. Listening live on KRC, we'll take another break. Stage 2 will begin shortly. Chat poll is going to remain open until the end of stage 2. Per usual, we'll have our diecast show into the race during that time as well. Alex Bowman leading at 41% of the polls, 46 votes so far as well. 24% taking somebody other than Allgaier, Almirola, and Bowman. Almirola had 22% of the votes and 13% taking Eric Almirola. Those were the top 3 at the end of stage 1. And Allgaier lost a couple spots on pit road, so he'll actually be 5th on the restart. And Almirola, Bowman changing positions, flip-flopping from who's 1st and who's 2nd. So Almirola will be the driver who will launch 1st in the restart zone. Given that slight advantage. put money on the picks. I mean, if I ever did, not really for the Xfinity and trucks. I probably should. I mean, 2 for 3 for the Xfinity series so far, and I took Bowman today, and he dominated stage 1. I don't know.
Car race before, but have never been able to say NASCAR's four most famous words. I gotta know, Luke. I thought you did a pretty good job, but where would you rate that on a scale from 1 to 10, maybe?
I could have gone a little further, a little louder. Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe a little louder, but it was very patriotic.
Thank you very much.
And then for you, Clancy, you said you've been to the Brickyard a long time ago. What do you think about the racing at Phoenix?
Well, in the Brickyard, I was in one of those suites on the other side of the track, and coming out of the first turn, and it's not a very high banked track, so it's kind of boring. This is a lot more exciting, and I'm sorry, my friends in the Brickyard, it's just true, right? This is a much better venue for NASCAR.
Absolutely, they love the line action, Kim. Yeah, and Josh Williams battling sickness.
Guy dissing on
he actually
Indy.
went to the infield care center in between practice qualifying the race for over an hour and a half. Got multiple IVs. Did it help? Here's your answer. So it looks like he's going to have to grin and bear it for the next 147 laps here in a warm Phoenix.
He's almost there.
Oof. Yeah, anybody that's been sick, it's really hard inside of the car, and there's something going around right now. A lot of people within the NASCAR community have had that, and it's hard to stay focused inside the car when you're battling other things.
But a couple top 15s to begin the year, 17th today, so he's managing it pretty well. As we get ready to start stage 2, Eric Almirola going to control the field. Bowman's up there with him. Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith on the front 3 rows. Connor Zillich had the problems on the pit lane, and that number 1 pit stall so slick there, he falls back to 21st for the restart. Anthony Alfredo got the free pass. First car 1 lap down at the end of the stage, but unfortunately some kind of an issue here for the 42.
Tough break for him. Green flag back in the air for the drivers at the front of the field. Eric Almirola out in front for the first time today. We'll see if he can hang on the restart. Alex Bowman stays to his outside. 3 wide for third between Sammy Smith, the 00, and the 20 to his outside. Smith goes backwards. Huge charge forward on the entry into turn 1 for Almirola. Squeezes the 17 just a little up the track, forces him to lift, and Almirola leads. 3 wide down the back straightaway, further back inside the top 10. Sam Mayer, Austin Hill, Nick Sanchez are the 3. Justin Allgaier on the outside of the 20 of Brandon Jones trying to get back into third. Bowman a couple car lengths off the lead at the start-finish line. Almirola leads his first green flag lap of the day to begin stage 2. Fastest lap of the race so far goes to Alex Bowman, by the way, through stage 1. His best lap was on the 6th lap of the race. It was a 28.483. We'll see if that holds as we're under caution for the second time today. First for incident as the 42 of Anthony Alfredo has stalled on pit road. So we saw him rolling into the pits right as the field was taking the green. Apparently he did not get all the way to his pit box, and the caution is out. He had gotten the free pass at the end of stage 1 with that caution. So with this yellow, it looks like Chris Wright in 27th will get the free pass to be back on the lead lap for the next restart. A little bit of a push and assistance to get Alfredo off of pit road. We'll get another restart in here shortly. Again, our second caution of the event. So Eric Almirola was able to hold on. Justin Allgaier gets right back to where he finished stage 1 in third. Gained a couple spots going from 5th. Top 5 then for this next restart. You're going to have Eric Almirola in the lead. Alex Bowman 2nd. Justin Allgaier 3rd. Brandon Jones 4th. And Sheldon Creed in 5th place. Should be a relatively quick caution once they get Alfredo's car to his pit box, and pit road will open. Probably this time by if I had to guess. Skip the pit box. He's going straight to the garage, it looks like. Tough break for Anthony Alfredo. Second driver to, I believe, retire from the race if he is not able to continue. Thomas Annunziata again pulled off just a handful of laps in. And now Anthony Alfredo with mechanical issues as well. Greg Van Ulst was 2 laps down, as well as Matt DiBenedetto. Everybody from 27th on back leading up to that last caution was 1 lap down. Chris Wright just took his free pass. Not going to see any pit stops here. Maybe a couple drivers at the tail end of the lead lap to top off on fuel, and that's about it. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Again, our goal is to get to 50 likes on the stream. We're up to 31 right now. Our goal is to get to 50 during the stream earlier. I know I ended the stream at 45. I'm going to check to see if we got to the goal after the stream was over. See if we start 1 for 1 here this weekend. Yep, we did. Okay, so we did get to the goal earlier, 54. So appreciate that. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2 here today and try to get to 50 once again. Parker Retzlaff back down on pit road. Doesn't look like there's really any damage on this car, so I'm still interested to know how he dropped back 10 positions right at the end of stage 1. Move forward once. We'll see if he can do it again. Still got a lot of laps left in the race, all things considered. Should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by, as pit road was open the last time. And then we'll get the next restart in. A lot of racing, obviously, still to go. Emogene Blevins, thanks for tuning in.
CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Liberty Mutual, only pay for what you need. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Caution early, second stage at Phoenix, NASCAR Xfinity Series. Got to pay off William Sawalich. Had to change a fuel pump after qualifying inside the top 10. That means he comes from the back, worked his way to the top 15, getting after it on a restart. Bang! That's his teammate, by the way.
Yeah, that wasn't a help. That was a mistake right there. The mistiming in those cars, kind of a 40 effect that you have when you're back a little bit and that happens often here. It's really
Well, let's take a look at Williams Race Fit Health Report, brought to you by Red Street. Must be nice to be young.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11". I'm
That's what you're doing. I mean, I'll point out right here. Look at this fitness, strength endurance, sensory training. That's the idea of trying to figure out basically your reactions and that sort of thing. Shoulder mobility and posterior change strength. I didn't even know that was a sentence here. I actually was watching a video of Lando Norris training to benchmarks the F1 driver, Lando Norris, before the season started. And a lot of I see what Swalich do it.
I know that. That's called the point.
Yeah, well,
or no.
but that's some of those things mentioned. That's what he was doing. So it's the race car driver training you have to do these days. Sensory training, heat training. It's all part of it.
How long can you hold a plank?
I don't know. 90 seconds? I don't know.
I'll say this jump rope is awesome.
I can do 2 minutes. You want me to just show you here?
We do.
We'll save that for the pre-race next.
Thanks. The one thing, like, as we show what all these guys do for training inside the car, the one thing that the hardest part to duplicate is the heat. The heat just breaks you down so much. Dylan, what do you have?
Real quick, guys, just to pump up from Crew Chief Marty Lindley to his driver, Connor Zelich.
We'll do it again today. Hey, no, we got plenty of time. Do it correctly in the first one, and then we'll get it right in the second when it counts.
Well, you know what? He gets to pass a lot of cars, and that can be fun.
It's harder today, though, than it was last week.
It is, but those drivers that started in the back have already worked their way to the top 15. Opportunity is there.
Our
Restart the 1/3 point of stage number 2. Almirola the jump. Look at that 8 down low. Sammy Smith getting after it, making it 3 wide.
Yeah, and Adam, we talk about that as you see them 3 wide going through turns 1 and 2. You have to be so disciplined as a driver because the spotters are so far away. You're using your mirrors and your spotter and some of your sensory to make sure that you give everybody the room that they need.
And you don't want your senses to fail there.
no
Austin Hill around into the
big hit.
So I don't know what happened. It almost, if something broke or he just couldn't see if he.
Follow me, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry about my God. I'm pulling the guy in front of me and I hit the nail, but inside the wall. Mistake.
I don't know that I've seen that here before. I haven't, but I've been very close to that same thing. And unfortunately for Sheldon Creed, he's caught up in this. Also, Dean Thompson was caught up in it. And so what happens there is you're falling to the car, and the way that wall sticks out and where you want to get to in the corner, you get very close to it. But when you're on restarts, people sort of turn in early. And if there's a car in front of you, you cannot see that wall. So what happens for him is whoever was in front of him sort of got in early. He probably wanted to get in even earlier than that, try to get some air to the nose, get visual on the yellow line, and actually caught that inside wall. Gosh, I've been close, but I've never done it.
Yeah, and what Parker's saying there is everybody fans out. If you're the second car back on the inside, you go just a foot to the inside of the guy in front of you, and it just gets magnified the further back you get. But it looked like to me that he misjudged. You see Sammy Smith right there, the 8 car. He's right behind him. He's already pretty low as they enter the corner. Oof. Gosh, when he hit 6 feet back.
But it's the way, the angle there. You saw Sammy Smith was 3 wide, so he was turning in super early. That just shades your ability to even see that wall. And Austin obviously caught it right at the wrong point, and it's just.
And it caught him off guard.
Oh,
he
man,
didn't realize that was going to happen until it was too late.
Yeah.
Here's what you hate, though. I mean, these are cars that could have won the race. For sure, the 00 qualifies in the front row. They're running in the top 10 when this happens.
Yeah, and as we look back at that, Sammy Smith was within 8 inches of hitting the wall as well. He was already on the inside of Brandon Jones, didn't have a lot of room.
I go back to the visuals of this place, especially on a restart, down in that turn 3-4 area restart line, because you know we saw it when the 18 hit the 54 on the restart, right? You mentioned pulling out a line before you get to the start finish line on a restart. The visuals here can be very difficult.
That sort of showed you a little bit, but what Williams Walsh did not have there was a car directly in front of him to protect that wall, protect your visual, be able to see it and block it. That's what Austin Hill had. Caught it right at the wrong spot.
Third caution of the day. First for an incident. Austin Hill, our Atlanta winner, catches that inside wall. Takes Sheldon Creed. Dean Thompson with it.
Big misjudgment there for Austin Hill, clipping the inside wall, and around she went. Straight up the racetrack, no chance to catch it. Obviously, with cars to the outside. Wiped out the innocent bystanding Sheldon Creed in the process, and then coming in late to crunch the 21's car more against the outside wall was Dean Thompson. I believe all 3 drivers involved in that crash are probably going to be out for the race. Hill's definitely out. Then you got Dean Thompson involved in it with severe damage, and again, Sheldon Creed had quite a bit as well. Hill Creed battling inside the top 10 at the time of the crash. Just almost 2 laps in after the restart. Actually, no, they weren't even a full lap in. That was the first lap after that last restart. Had about 2 in before the last caution, and then this one. So stage 1 goes caution-free. Very start-stop here to begin stage 2. We're about halfway through stage 2 already, just based off of the laps ran. Yeah, I've definitely done that in NASCAR video games in the past. I've probably at Phoenix, some other tracks where it's very possible as well. I know, like Milwaukee getting into turn 1, I've done it a bunch. That one probably gets me the worst compared to any other track. Done it on some road courses. Actually, I think when we were just running Boulder Raceway Park on NASCAR 08 earlier in the week in the Truck Series, I'm pretty sure I did that in a right-handed turn a couple times. Clipped the inside wall of my apex. Luckily, nobody was to my outside. Unfortunately for Austin Hill, that was the case. Top 3 remained the same, though, on that last restart. Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, and Justin Allgaier. All involved in the crash, or sorry, not involved in the crash, but all 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field following the crash. And are running where they are at the time of caution. That's the best restart Eric Almirola's had so far today as well.
Vegas, where Austin Hill hosted Stay Hot.
I deserve the race for a championship. Is the one to watch.
NASCAR Xfinity Series next Saturday live from Vegas at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. To race day right, go to shop.cwtv.com to shop race day gear, grills, and more. Brought to you by Pit Boss Grills. Thicker, hotter, heavier.
You see him picking up that steak.
I saw it.
The pair of tongs to take up the steak.
All right. It was on a hot grill. It was being cooked right then and there. It was burning hot. I didn't want to burn my hand.
How do you order your steak?
Medium rare, of course. He actually does. I can verify that. I've been out with him and he did.
It's the GOVX 200 today. You know, stage 1, clean and green. Stage 2, not so
Clean or green.
We just can't find our rhythm here so far. Stage 2 of the GOVX 200. First hit stint of the day. Austin Hill got it going.
Yeah, this is just can't get the visual. Doesn't know that wall's there. Sammy Smith is blocking it. Turns in just too early. Just that inside wall, and it rockets it to the outside, and unfortunately into Sheldon Creed.
No shake up at the front. It continues to be Eric Almirola leading.
Do another commercial break full screen here while we await the next restart. And hopefully this is going to take us to the end of stage 2 without another incident this time. Just under 50 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Exactly halfway through stage 2 in this race. And about a third of the way through the race entirely. Lap 68 of 200. We'll take our next break while we're waiting on the CW to come back. You're listening live on KRC to the GOVX 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Phoenix. I mean, I feel like I'm smoother in the corners with the steering wheel. Definitely becomes more of a fight when the tires start to wear off. It's got its advantages and disadvantages. Hard quite a bit. Like, I have carpeting, but I needed to have like some sort of support to try to keep them from wanting to slide away from me, I guess. I was constantly having to adjust them like under cautions and stuff. But that was just a standard like PS4 steering wheel. Obviously, if I had like an iRacing setup or something of that nature, steering wheel was mounted and stuff, but pedals weren't. Second DNF of the season for Austin Hill. 2025, I'm assuming. 2035, that's quite the prediction. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Our goal of 50 likes on the stream, we are at 33 right now, still 18 away, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our 4th NASCAR race weekend. Trucks will be back next week at Vegas, so we'll have triple header action beginning live commentary streams on Friday night for that truck race. A late start there for us on the East, 9 p.m. Eastern for the Truck Series race next Friday at Vegas. We'll have Xfinity racing along with Cup practice and qualifying Saturday. Cup race on Sunday. Good to have that extra night back. Haven't had a Friday live commentary stream since Daytona.
Back here at Phoenix Raceway and here at the Medical Center with Austin Hill, who just walked down. Obviously, a disappointing way to end your day. What did you see there, and how did you end up going from the inside back out?
Well, I couldn't see much. I was right behind the 8, I think it was, getting into turn 3 there. And I just misjudged the inside wall, and that might be the dumbest move I've ever had happen to me in racing. So feel bad for everyone involved in the wreck. Looks like the 26 got in there, the 00. Feel bad for those guys because they were innocent bystanders. Obviously, that was 100% my fault. Just a misjudgment on my part. I was just stalling the 8 really tight there, and I was going to try to like get a little bit of air to the left side. And I didn't realize he was that close to the wall. And as soon as I realized it, it was already too late. So felt really bad for everybody on our vintage Chevrolet, everybody at RCR, ECR. I hate to wreck race cars, especially that way. So yeah, I just sorry for everyone back up at Welcome. They worked so hard to build these race cars, just some blue collar workers, and we might not always have the fastest cars, but we always seem to outwork everyone. And today is just something that happened on my part. So.
Well, there was Austin Hill after the crash. Luckily, he is okay. There were a couple hard impacts in there, as well as a couple other drivers involved in the incident. Sheldon Creed, Dean Thompson were the other two. Green flag is back in the air. Getting split 3 wide middle on the restart initially is the leader, Almirola. The 17 of Bowman to the outside and the 20 of Brandon Jones on the bottom. Again, Almirola shoots the middle. He's going to be able to clear the 20 down on the inside, but he's door-to-door and nose-to-nose for the lead down the backstretch with Bowman. Going to side draft him on the left rear corner panel before diving off into turns 3 and 4. Almirola on the bottom, Bowman still on the outside. Both cars slide wide. Eric slides up the racetrack. Rear tires come out from underneath them a bit, and Bowman will be clear at the start-finish line. Almirola may lose second to Justin Allgaier into turns 1 and 2, and he does. And Allgaier with a power move on the outside will get to the door of Alex Bowman and clear him by corner exit off turn 2. What a move by Justin Allgaier in the 7. I don't know if he caught the 17 napping or what happened there. I think he just rolled in so much deeper and got it to stick on the still somewhat fresher tires. We haven't had that many green flag laps on him. Bowman drops back to 3rd now. Almirola got right back around him, and now Almirola in 1 and 2 gets to the inside of Allgaier. And now it's the 19 and the 7 battling door-to-door for the race lead. First time we've seen these two battle for position so far today. It's a good little battle going on. Bowman almost gave up a spot to the 20 of Brandon Jones. First time we've seen the 17 in traffic. But the 3 fastest cars in the field are still 1, 2, 3 off the restart. Interchanging and intertwining positions with one another. And off this last restart, Justin Allgaier has actually just nabbed the quickest and fastest lap time put down in the race today. 28.335. Fastest lap of the day. 14 one-thousandths of a second quicker than Eric Almirola's fastest lap, who was in second. Bowman with a 28.385 on the restart, about a half a tenth off of Allgaier. Replay of Ryan Sieg sliding up against the wall off the exit of turn 4. 54 of Taylor Gray, who was right underneath him, almost got into him as well. Just enough room to escape and avoid that to the inside. Almirola is not letting this 7 car drive away. He is still going to pressure him for the lead. Top 3 within 7/10 of a second of each other. At the front of the field, Almirola does get back to the inside of Allgaier. Great battling going on right now. Got a nose down to the left rear corner panel, backed up the corner entry to get to the throttle sooner on exit, and now he's side by side for the lead and goes to the apron through the dogleg. Almirola on the inside of the 7 of Allgaier. Allgaier charged the outside hard when he got to the lead on Bowman earlier. The 19 slides up, takes the line away the 7. The 7 has to lift, and the 19 wiggles a little bit down on that yellow line. Allgaier pulls clear midway down the backstretch and into 3 and 4. Eric Almirola looking to go to the bottom, but Allgaier tries to take the line away, so now full of dirty air is the 19, but holds on strong through 3 and 4. As they continue to battle for the lead side by side, end over end on the racetrack, now the 17 of Alex Bowman starting to creep in the picture yet again. If you're not firing off quite as well here to begin stage 2 for Alex Bowman, losing the lead a couple of restarts ago, then Almirola on this last restart losing the lead to Allgaier. This is the first time that Justin Allgaier has led in the race today. And now he's got pressure again. Almirola to the inside. Alex Bowman just behind him. Will push Allgaier out of the dogleg. Down towards turn 1. Brandon Jones on the 20 is also creeping in the picture. 4 cars under a blanket at the front of the field at Phoenix. Merging off the exit of turn 2, single file through the front 4 positions as they all ran different lanes in the top 3 positions through 1 and 2. Bowman changes his line to the outside, trying to get clean air on the nose. 19 consistently going down to the bottom. Several times through 3 and 4, just Allgaier trying to shut the door on him and not give him that clean air pocket on the inside. About a half a lane lower through 1 and 2 this time is the 19. Definitely the best battle for the lead we've had all day. We'll be coming up on 9 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. What a battle indeed. Replay of a couple colleague cars getting together there, the 16 and the 10. Also off turn 4 several laps ago. Held on to it. Almirola to the inside, and he gets a good drive off of turn 2. He's going to have his nose out in front, getting into 3 down on the bottom of the racetrack. Drives it in deep this time, slides up, trying to take the line away of the 7. Allgaier has to lift. Almirola's clear. The offensive attack works out for Almirola, and now will the 7 of Allgaier be able to get him back a second time? Or is Eric Almirola going to slightly be able to pull away? Allgaier to the left rear. He gets back under him. What a crossover. 19 had his hands full off the exit of turn 2. Rear of his car was sliding around a lot. Allgaier didn't get into him, but he definitely got him a bit aero loose. And on the other end of the track at 3 and 4, it's Allgaier clear again. A very fantastic battle between Justin Allgaier and Eric Almirola for the lead as they just continue to trade positions back and forth. They've pulled away from Bowman and Jones some. As now Alex Bowman's about 1 second off the lead and just trying to play defense of his own right to hang on to 3rd in front of the 20. While the 7 and the 19 just continue to battle out ahead of him. We're battling in the middle of the pack. A little bit of a bump and run to the left rear of Jeb Burton. Daniel Dye in the 10 car looking to make the pass. That battle's outside the top 10. Currently for 13th between Dye and Jeb Burton. Nick Sanchez, who was top 10 at the end of stage 1, just behind them. Stage points going to be awarded here for these top 10 positions in just 5 more laps. Sanchez to the inside of Jeb Burton. Not for a stage point at the end of the stage, but still for track position. Get that 1 extra spot before we get into the second pit stops of the day during the stage break. Still got a good battle up there. 7 of Allgaier is doing everything he can to try to hold off the 19. The 19 has cleared him twice. And the 7 has passed him right back both times. Can Almirola do it a 3rd time and then just not get crossed over again is going to be the next question. As he burnt up his tires, because it does seem like he's sliding the rears a lot more than Justin Allgaier. Even with being in the dirty air running 2nd in line behind him and the clean air is on the nose of the 7. Definitely a lot more steady. 19 charges harder on corner entry that time. He's been backing up the entry of the corners a lot more when he had ran down Allgaier the first couple times, but he definitely outdrove him on entry the last time into 3 and 4 and it bit him on corner exit. Now he goes up the racetrack, looked a little tight. Same line in the dirty air, just above the yellow line. Maybe wrapping it with the left side tires through 1 and 2. 2 to go, stage 2 this time by for the 7 of Allgaier. Allgaier had his left sides down on the apron through 3 and 4. Using the paint. Alex Bowman was running that line for what I noticed when he was dominating through stage 1. Allgaier still has the fastest lap of the race. Again, that was at 28.335 at lap 73 on this last restart. I believe that was a power move he made on the outside to get to the lead, too. On that lap. Alex Bowman in that 17 team might have went the wrong way in adjustments. Not only they're the first car back in traffic, but you look at all the other drivers in the running order on our raw feed when they ran their fastest lap. Bowman was at lap 7. Everybody else in the top 7 ran their fastest lap off this last restart. But not the same for the 17. Half a second difference now in the final lap of stage 2. Justin Allgaier will hold on, and he is going to win stage 2. And that will be the first stage win of the year for Allgaier, I do believe. Eric Almirola second, Alex Bowman third, Brandon Jones fourth, and Sammy Smith will round out the top 5 and 5th. Sam Mayer 6th, Jesse Love 7th, Taylor Gray 8th, Carson Quapple 9th, and Ryan Sieg will round out the top 10. Tense battle through stage 2 there between Justin Allgaier, Eric Almirola. We are getting closer to the end of the race. That battle will only become more and more intense as we are nearly halfway home, but entering the final stage of today's GOVX 200 at Phoenix. End of stage 2, so we'll close the chat poll. 63 votes were casted, and Alex Bowman at 40% of the votes was the highest vote getter for who you thought was going to win this race today. 25% took Justin Allgaier, 22% took somebody other than Allgaier, Almirola, or Bowman, and only 12% taking Eric Almirola, but he has looked strong in the early laps to say the least. Just over 1 hour into this race so far today, 4 cautions. 2 of them were the stage ends at lap 45 and lap 90. We had 2 cautions for incident. Stage 2, none in stage 1. 6 lead changes, most of those between the 7 and the 19 here in stage 2. 23 laps under yellow. Again, all of them in stage 2. And now the beginning of stage 3, technically, with the stage caution. Diecast showing now as we're at the end of stage 2 as well. And I figured it was going to be another Xfinity race, so I'll show off another Busch Series diecast. Obviously used to be the Busch Series. So that's why this is a Busch Series diecast at that time. But this is Dale Earnhardt Jr. from 2005. And it's his Oreo Ritz Chevrolet, the 81 for Chance 2 Motorsports at the time. So this is basically the pre-Junior Motorsports team, owned by both Dale and Kelly. This car shines, I will say. I don't know if this is like a chromed out version of the diecast. Couldn't tell you. I don't remember what track I bought this one specifically at. It was probably Bristol, because most of them I've gotten were at Bristol. There was one year I literally walked out with a dozen diecasts. The one day alone at Bristol. And I think over the course of the weekend when I was there, Thursday through Saturday, I probably had like 16 to 20 diecasts bought that weekend. So it might have been Bristol that one time. It could have been one of the other times I went back to Bristol. But, yep, 2005. Monte Carlo. Number 81. Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's our Stage 2 diecast showing for today's stream. Making you hungry for Oreos. It's a good scheme. I like the scheme. I've always liked the Oreo and Ritz cars. DEI. I can always remember Tony Stewart running those paint schemes for Junior Motorsports there in that 4 car. The Car of Tomorrow era. Winning races at Daytona with those schemes.
CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by GOVX. If you have a military or first responder background, visit GOVX.com. GOVX, savings for those who serve. Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Car. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com. Great photos from November when Justin Allgaier claimed the championship. Been such a good driver in the Xfinity Series. Here we go from Progressive Pit Road. Kim?
And for Eric Almirola, he said too loose, turning decent. He doesn't want to hurt the turn, but he can't keep chasing the back. He's a half a number 2 free. He needs to lean on the right rear more. They will make a slight adjustment to get more rear stability. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. His teammate, Brandon Jones in the 20 you see right there, started off the run with better rear grip. maybe just a little snug, really close. He felt good about it. Just needed a little freer for the longer run, Dylan.
Chevrolets at the front of the field. Race leader Justin Allgaier once freed up just a little bit. They'll do that with air pressure adjustment as well for Alex Bowman. He said we took the back out of the track and it didn't turn any better. Couple small adjustments for 2 cars at the front of the field.
And now the race off Progressive Pit Road. 17 does their job. Brandon Jones +2. Justin Allgaier has won 70 stages in his career. That's the best of all time. He's leading when we come back.
70. Remember, he had double digits last season. He was pretty high. He almost had 20 of them, I think, last year alone. On top of winning a championship, definitely best driver throughout the course of the season last year. Undoubtedly through the Xfinity Series season. Ruben Tampa, thanks for tuning in. You've probably been in here for a while. I don't know if I shouted you out yet. Really want Justin Allgaier to win the race. Doesn't think he deserves it the most. Well, man. Doesn't think he deserves it. That's a bold statement right there. I mean, he is leading. I mean, if you're leading the race, I feel like you kind of deserve it, but he was the quickest car at times in stage 1. Just qualified a little further back, got to the lead here in stage 2, won it. I do think he's going to be the guy, I think he's got the car to beat. I think he's slightly quicker than the 19 and the 17. But we saw him lose the lead a couple times to the 19 of Almirola. But yeah, the 3 wily veterans here, Allgaier for the Xfinity Series, Cup experience of Almirola, Bowman, they've all been top 3 the entire day. You got Brandon Jones up there in second now because of the cycling of pit stops. We'll go through the full field running order here before we get to this next restart, actually. So Justin Allgaier leads. Brandon Jones is second. Alex Bowman third. You have Eric Almirola in fourth. Sammy Smith fifth. Taylor Gray sixth. Connor Zilic seventh. Jesse Love eighth. Sam Mayer ninth. Ryan Sieg is 10th. Nick Sanchez in 11th. William Sawalich 12th. Daniel Dye 13th. Carson Quapple 14th. And Christian Eck is 15th. Parker Retzlaff 16th, Jeb Burton 17th, Harrison Burton 18th, Brennan Poole 19th, Kyle Seed 20th, Josh Williams 21st, Jeremy Clements 22nd, Mason Massey 23rd, Josh Balicki 24th, Blaine Perkins 25th, Chris Wright 26th, Joey Gase 27th, Garrett Smithley 28th, just got the free pass, so he's the last car in the lead lap. Nick Lights 29th, Dawson Cram 30th, each 1 lap down. Matt Benedetto 2 laps down at 31st, 3 laps down for Greg Van Olsen 32nd. Anthony Alfredo did return to the track after his mechanical issue, but he's 14 laps down in 33rd. And then Ryan Ellis, I think, pulled off track last stage 21 laps ago. He's 34th. Thomas Annunziata back out at the racetrack after pulling into the garage early. He's 35th. Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Dean Thompson have all crashed out on that restart middle of stage 2. Creed will finish 36th, Hill 37th, Thompson last in 38th. So that rounds out our 38-car field for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Phoenix, the GOVX 200.
Where Austin Hill hopes to stay hot. I deserve the race for a championship. While the rest of the field looks to take him down. People want to watch the NASCAR Xfinity Series next Saturday, live from Vegas at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on the CW.
The CW is giving NASCAR fans the opportunity to win an unforgettable trip to Universal Orlando Resort and its new theme park, Universal Epic Universe, opening May 22nd. Epic Universe will invite guests to explore 5 vibrant, immersive worlds filled with extraordinary adventures. Scan the QR code or visit the CWSuites.com now to enter. And now our Gold Moment, sponsored by Gold Corral. Watch Eric Almirola deal with the left hand of Greg Van Olsen.
Excuse me. Coming through. Yeah, he was hoping he could time out a run to get outside of Justin right there. Greg was just trying to get out of the way.
Greg Van Olsen, veteran driver from Anderson, Indiana, making his 2nd start of the year. Let's go to Carla.
Yeah, disappointing day for the 00, getting caught up in the Austin Hill incident. You said you were not ready for it when it happened. So what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think just a simple mistake out of the 21 there. It's pretty blind when there's a few cars in front of you, so it sounds like he hit the wall. I haven't seen the replay yet, but it sounds like he hit that inside wall and then kind of shot up into us. So unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time, but felt like we were going to have a top 5 day and and making it better to try to get a better race. So we get some for pit loss growth on the car this week, and we could get a better speed.
Disappointing day to Sheldon Creed.
And what you hate about it, Carla, is just how good he's been at this track. Starts in the front row, such a good opportunity to deliver early in the season, maybe get his first career win. And it's bad news times two here. We hear from Sheldon Creed out of the race, his teammate Sam Mayer, who had been working his way through the field, speeding penalty, and unfortunately for him, it's going to put him behind the 8 ball as we begin the final stage.
It's a bad sequence of events for Haas factory team here. Lose a car, have a car speed on pit road, go to the back right here. They came in here with so much confidence, knowing those were some of the fastest race cars at this racetrack. Not working out.
Also found out William Sawalich, who had worked his way to the top 10, got a speeding penalty, so did the 5. Aaron's coverage today provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of an American icon, the Goodyear blood. Front row for the restart final stage, Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones.
Yeah, 2 past winners at this track. We talked about Brandon Jones.
All right, here we go. Justin Allgaier, green flag back in the air. Great launch on the inside of the restart zone. He's clear well before the start-finish line. The 20 car of Brandon Jones up on the outside, 3 wide, in fact, with 2 cars underneath him, getting into turn 1. Alex Bowman on the outside lane moves way up in the middle of 1 and 2, overshot the corner. He loses several positions. Bowman falls to about 6th or 7th on the restart. Almost got squeezed into the wall by Sammy Smith, who made a late jump up the track down the back straightaway to try to cut off and block Bowman at the last second. JGR cars of Brandon Jones and Almirola still side by side for second at the end of the first lap following the restart to begin stage 3. Almirola up high, the 20 of Brandon Jones down low, and the other JGR Toyota of Taylor Gray just behind him up to 4th. He's been great on the restarts today, but the long run speed has lacked for Gray. We'll see if he can hold on this time around. He was very loose at the start of the race today. Rear of the car is moving around a ton through the center of the corner off, but maybe they've gotten it fixed just a bit more as we get further along. Couple pit stops in now as well. Sammy Smith blocking the 17 down to the bottom of the track as well. Very defensive lines from the 8 of Sammy Smith on Alex Bowman these first couple laps after Bowman has fallen behind. This is as far back as that 17 car has been today, currently in 6th. Allgaier has the fastest lap of the race, and it was on lap 102. A lot of cars up in the front of the field, in fact, ran their fastest laps at lap 101 or 102 on this restart to begin stage 3. So again, they're just getting quicker and quicker the more adjustments they're able to make to their cars, and obviously those at the front of the field having the cleanest air to be able to run those lap times as well. 28.022 was the lap, by the way, for Allgaier. Last lap he ran, though, was a 28.283. Almirola was a couple tenths quicker, and Eric Almirola still only about a half a second, maybe less than that, off the race lead this time by at the line. A little bit past halfway, 97 laps to go. They are outside the fuel window. So if we did go green most of the way through stage 3, they would have to make a pit stop at some point for fuel and tires before the finish of the race. Battle is for 7th, the 2 under the 48. Connor Zilic, Carson Kvapil battling just behind them side by side for 9th as well. Sanchez drives in way deeper up on that outside lane. Gets it to stick most of the way through the corner, still holds clear on Jesse Love just behind him. Kvapil and Zilic still side by side. Ryan Segan, a backup car, has done a great job in the 39. Finished 10th at the end of stage 2, and he's running right behind the 2 JRM rookies in front of him. Full-time rookies, that is, this year for Kvapil and Zilic. Both ran part-time for Junior Motorsports last season. A little contact between the 1 and the 88 there as well. Turns 1 and 2 lap or 2 ago. They've been pretty much side by side ever since. End of the back straightaway, Zilic finally clear. Jesse Love battles back to the inside of Sanchez again after clearing him moments ago. He did not pull away. Cut through the dogleg on the front stretch that time by 94 to go. Jesse Love clears. Sanchez just rolls so much faster on entry through 1 and 2 on that outside lane. Up off the exit of the corner, Love's going to slam the door shut on him. No crossover attempt looks like it's going to be made in 3 and 4. Sanchez will be patient this time. So Jesse Love will win that battle. for 7th. Kvapil and Zilich are still door-to-door. Sieg wants to get them both. 3 wide to the bottom of the track goes Sieg on the apron, even lower than Kvapil, who is in that middle lane of the racetrack. Zilich up on the top. Sieg going to get the drive off. Still stays underneath the one on the back straightaway. Zilich clear up high. And now Sieg will just kind of merge and wait in line behind these two again. Single file around the bottom, those 3 go through 3 and 4. Beginning portion of stage 3. 7/10 of a second lead for Justin Allgaier over Almirola at the front of the field. 1.7 seconds back is Brandon Jones settling in at 3rd. Taylor Gray in 4th. 3 seconds off the lead. Alex Bowman back to 5th is 4 seconds off the lead. And that rounds out our top 5. Just over an hour and 15 minutes into the race. Again, those 4 cautions, 2 for incident, stage 2. 8 lead changes now following the restart to begin stage 3. 30 laps ran under yellow to this point. 22 laps into this final stage, though maybe a dozen or so, give or take, laps so far in this green flag run. Again, outside the fuel window to make it to the end. So we have not seen the final pit stop yet today. Though we haven't seen any green flag stops with the way the first 2 stages were each only 45 laps in length around this 1-mile oval. Very tricky pit road here at Phoenix. Very long pit road as well. Definitely don't want to pit early if you can help it. Just in case you get an ill-timing caution, you get trapped a lap down. We've seen that in years past. 2 stage winners today. Justin Allgaier just won stage 2. He still has the fastest lap of the race. Again, lap 102 in this last restart. Dropped to 28.022. And Alex Bowman from the pole led every lap of stage 1. Hasn't led since. He actually lost the lead on pit road to Almirola. Was battling for it. 3 wide at one point on the restart with Allgaier and Almirola middle of stage 2 after a caution involving the 21, the 00, and the 26 took those 3 out of the race. It's the only accident of the race today. The other incidental caution, the 42, Anthony Alfredo stalled out on pit road. Went to the garage, since has returned to the racetrack. Dazed Visions, thanks for tuning in. Wild saying I'm dropped so low, the racetrack around the corners. Yeah, this they're going to use every bit of asphalt possible around Phoenix. Especially as the track starts to age, it's just moved wider and wider. Because when we first had this configuration, they definitely were not using quite as much as the asphalt as they have in recent years here. Racing's just kind of progressively getting better in my eyes. I know a lot of people don't really care for Phoenix. I've said even at the start of the stream, the Xfinity Series seems to put on good races here. When I was at the championship race in 2022 at Phoenix, I thought that was a great race that weekend. And then I went on the internet after the fact, and a lot of people didn't agree. I was like, man, that was one of the better Xfinity races I've seen in person, honestly. Obviously, it's always going to be better when you're there in person. You can see more of the action, so maybe TV wasn't doing it justice. But had that good battle for the lead in stage 2. But now that the fastest car, at least in my eyes, through this portion of the race, first 120 laps nearly, 118 and counting, and Justin Allgaier out in front, he's going to be tough to beat. Almirola had good short run burst there for about a dozen laps. Then he fell off right at the end of stage 2. Stage caution kind of bailed him out. Otherwise, he probably would have started slipping behind the 7 at that point. But couldn't get around him on the restart. Lost a spot on pit road, too. So it actually took him time to get back by Brandon Jones. Before now just kind of settling in between a half a second to 7/10 off the lead. Trying to manage that gap the best he can. Maybe to get into lap traffic and start catching Allgaier that way. Saving tires for the longer run. Allgaier had great long run speed. When stage 1 went caution free, he was running slightly quicker lap times for a lot of the back half of that stage, even after making as many passes as he did. He started 14th, got to 3rd. In pretty much the first just over 20 laps. slowly chipped away at Almirola, just couldn't quite get around him by that point. But was able to do it in stage 2 despite the fact that they battled back and forth and changed the lead a couple times between each other. Under green as well. So 82 laps to go. Looks like the CW will be heading to another commercial break here. As they do that, we'll go through the full field running order once again. Lead trimmed down to a half a second gap now between Allgaier and Almirola at the front of the field. Brandon Jones is still third. Alex Bowman has since moved back into fourth. Taylor Gray fifth and Sammy Smith in sixth. Seventh place, Jesse Love, Nick Sanchez eighth, Ryan Sieg ninth, and Connor Zilic 10th. Carson Quapple in 11th, Christian Eck is 12th, William Sawalich 13th, Parker Retzlaff 14th, and Sam Mayer 15th. Harrison Burton 16th, Daniel Dye 17th, Josh Williams 18th, Jeb Burke 19th, Brendan Poole 20th, Jeremy Clements 21st, Kyle Sieg 22nd, Mason Massey 23rd, Blaine Perkins 24th, and Chris Wright 25th. Josh Malicki last car in the lead lap at 26th, Joey Gase first car lap down at 27th, Garrett Smithley lap down at 28th, Dawson Cram 2 laps down at 29th, Nick Lights 30th, Matt DiBenedetto 3 laps down at 31st, Greg Van Alst 4 laps down at 32nd, 15 laps down for Anthony Alfredo, who's back on track again, as I mentioned, at 33rd. Ryan Ellis on track, 21 laps down at 34th. Same for Thomas Annunziata in 22 laps down and 35th. 3 cars out of the race, all crashed out. Same incident. Sheldon Creed 36th, 37th Austin Hill, Dean Thompson 38th. That rounds out our field. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC, the GOVX 200 at Phoenix. And I'll let you listen into the CW broadcast when they come back from the side-by-side commercial break. Should happen here within another lap or two. Got a battle going on side by side between Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith for 5th. Smith took a look to the inside through 1 and 2, fell behind it for a brief moment down the backstretch, makes the dive again on the other end through 3 and 4. Stay on that left rear corner panel by the exit of the corner, trying to side draft into the dog leg. Doesn't go to the apron that time, though.
NXT hits NYC at MSG for WWE Roadblock. You will not want to miss this historic event when the NXT Women's Champion, Julia, takes on the NXT Women's North American Champion, Stephanie Vacker. And one woman will walk away with both titles. WWE NXT Roadblock this Tuesday, 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. And now our race break, brought to you by SafeLight, the auto glass experts. Let's take a look at what's been happening so far. No doubt one of the big moments. Only caution incident, Austin Hill will be Sheldon Creed electing rookie Dean Thompson.
Yeah, Austin Hill got that inside wall, and based on that comments that we heard from Farley at the Infield Care Center, give me a long trip home for Austin Hill. He's really beating himself up over what happened right there.
He admitted it, but it's an uncharacteristic mistake of his, and I think he really stood up and said, I made that mistake. It's on me. It's a mistake that you and I talked about. You thought maybe could happen. You haven't seen it happen here before. But unfortunately, he was the first one we see do that.
The only consolation I would say is, number one, when you have the DNF, you've already won. You're in the playoffs. That makes that easier to take. And where are we going the next 2 weeks? Las Vegas, where he's won. Miami, where he won last fall. He could put this behind him on track rather quickly. And when it comes to putting someone behind you, Sandy Smith trying to put Taylor Gray behind him, these two racing for 5th.
Yeah, you see those two guys running all the way up against the fence. You see the one, Carson Quapple and Christian Atkins running way out there. William Walsh is committed, though, to the bottom. He's got that 18 car glued to the bottom, actually running below the yellow line through 3 and 4, and it's working.
Absolutely flying through the field right now. It's when he has clean air, he turns lap times that are similar to the leaders. So we know the speed he has inside that race car, and it's showing with his ability just to drive past people as he shoots through the shortcut here on Eckes to sort of get some leverage and then try to outbrake him and slide up in turn 1. We'll see if this works maybe better on the exit if he can get a turn here.
Look at that biggest mover since we went back green. Sawalich plus 13 if he can complete the pass on Eckes. If he gets it to plus 14 and he's able to get by Quapple, get himself in the top 10, you know what he's saying? Just give me a caution so I can make my pit stop under yellow and have a chance to get another restart. I will say, though, getting by these two, easier said than done. Rookies trading blows in Phoenix. Quapple, Eckes, and we're on board with Sawalich.
And what happens here at Phoenix is the tires fall off that outside groove, even though it's maybe not the preferred groove to be in, it just has so much momentum on the exit. You can force the bottom car to pitch off the corners. Oh, Quapple gets real loose down to the 3 right there. That opens the door, makes it a lot easier because now Sawalich will have the momentum. He'll use that shortcut and try and clear him down into turn 1. But as I say, it's just that outside at times has so much leverage on the inside car that it makes it really hard to complete a pass.
18, strong late, Dylan.
Yeah, maybe nobody else in the field that's passed more cars today than the 18s. Remember, they started last because of that fuel pump issue at the start of the day. So he's been on the move. And talked to crew chief Jeff Mendering this morning. He said he can definitely tell that this is a racetrack he had confidence in as soon as we unloaded. This is the first track that William has run for the second time in an Xfinity car. And it's showing today with the moves that he's made. The biggest thing, too, they just said, they started out this year strong, a couple top 10s, and now they're prepared to just be able to go to some of these racetracks and learn even more at their own pace, kind of like we talked about earlier with Connor Zilish. So Sawalich has learned quick today. He's passed a lot of cars and approaching the top 10 now.
And it's so much easier to learn when you're having success. And he is. And the other thing I would point out, Dylan references his crew chief Jeff Mendering. He's won here 3 times, including with a couple of young drivers the last 2 years, Chandler Smith and Sammy Smith. So a veteran on the box with a young driver is equaling good times at Phoenix.
Yeah, and the one car right here, Carson Quapple, he's on the struggle bus. He's holding everybody up. He's got that outside lane going, and he's one of the guys, as we've gotten into a little bit of a longer run here, he's like, when's my pit going to open? Because I'm ready to come in and get some tires. So Sawalich on the other end of that has a great balance on his car and doesn't. I've got bad news for you. It's a while.
Yeah, we still got about 12 or 13 laps, what most teams would tell us would be that opening for the pit window. But the thing about this place with one set of tires left is you don't want to be first. Someone's going to blame first, but you don't want to be first because you don't want to be in a position where you put those tires on, it goes for a fair amount of time, and then there's a caution, and all those other cars have included half many times.
Well, you want to be first if the caution doesn't come out. You don't want to be first if the caution comes out.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I would say the other thing to watch is if you are first, you start really forcing the hand of everyone.
Well, it will. It will open up. When someone comes down and they sort of force those leaders who have maybe not gone on the pit road, it's going to put them in a position to make that decision quickly because they'll lose so much time.
Carson gladly said he'll be the first. Just go ahead and bring it up. I am ready. Is there
His hands in the air.
quite a battle right there for position?
Parker Retzlaff, unbelievable top 15, knocking on the door of the top 10. And we've talked about Sawalich in the speeding penalty. Same for Sam Mayer, but the 41 with some speed late making a rally. And another of those drivers that says, okay, I'm about to the point where I want that caution to tighten everything back up. And you said this earlier. Mayer is off to as good a start as he's ever had in his career. I feel like the early portion of seasons haven't been great for him. The top 3s at Daytona and last week at Coda. He felt optimistic coming here, a track that's not his best. I think it was Kim that told that story before we went green today. So if he could come back from the adversity, finish top 10 here, it would continue that early season run that he's felt so good about.
And I think for Sam Mayer, what I've seen out of him just early on in this season is a little bit of a different Sam Mayer than we saw at Junior Motorsports. A more mature, more composed race car driver who understands the bigger picture of the season and when not to make moves. And I think we saw that at Daytona. We saw it even at Atlanta, even though he got crashed there. We saw it at Coda. This is Sam Mayer, a couple years in this Xfinity career, making better decisions on the racetrack, even when he doesn't have as fast a car maybe than he's had in the past.
Let's go from one Ford to another. 39 is Ryan C. Carla.
C told us earlier this season. He said the reason we have to it's because we know how good the veteran class is. Look at the leaderboard. Right now, sandwich, let's bring you groceries with Brandon. Yeah, and as we get closer to what we call the money stop, the last stop of the day, a stop that could win or lose you the race, let's look at what not to to do. This is going to be Eric Amarola's stop at the end of stage 2. We're going to rewind and look back at, again, the choreography has to be perfect. You see the rear tire changer on the left, take that tire off. Usually the tire that's replacing it would be right there. A little bit slow getting that tire back on the car. So again, getting closer and closer to green flag stops. Your choreography on these has to be absolutely perfect. Every second matter. That team lost 2 positions with that slow left rear change.
This is the longest green flag run we've had today. Eric Almirola only a half a second back. 19 starting to come on. 7 of Allgaier leads.
Still a lot of time left in this one, though. 61 laps to go. Justin Allgaier out in front of the field. Again, Eric Almirola in second. Brandon Jones third. Alex Bowman fourth. And Sammy Smith is in fifth. Taylor Gray, 6th, Jesse Love, 7th, Ryan Sieg, 8th, Nick Sanchez, 9th, and Connor Zilich is 10th. 11th place, William Sawalich up 14 spots from the race start. Sam Mayer up 12 spots from the race start to position number 12. Parker Retzlaff's back up to 13th, Christian Eck is 14th, and Carson Quapple 15th. Harrison Burton in 16th, 17th, Jeb Burton, Daniel Dye 18th, Brennan Poole 19th, and Josh Williams 20th. Jeremy Clements 21st, Kyle Sieg 22nd is the last car in the lead lap. Mason Massey 23rd, Chris Wright 24th, Blaine Perkins 25th, Josh Williams in 26th, Nick Lights Josh Balicki, not Williams, Williams 26th, Dawson Cram 27th, Nick Lights 28th, Matt DiBenedetto 29th, Joey Gase 30th, Garrett Smithley 31st, Greg Van Alst 32nd, Anthony Alfredo 33rd, Ryan Ellis 34th, Thomas Annunziata 35th, Sheldon Creed 36, Austin Hill 37, Dean Thompson rounds out our 38-car field. Justin Allgaier still leads the way, still has the fastest lap, and he won a stage, so it'd be a pretty solid points day for him. He's led 69 laps, most in the race so far. Bowman led 49-23 for Almirola. Those are the only 3 drivers to lead today. 4 cautions, 9 lead changes, and we've had 30 laps under yellow. No cautions in stage 3. All of them in stage 2, 2 for incident, then the 2 stage ends, lap 45, lap 90. Were the 4 yellows. Stage winners today, Alex Bowman, stage 1. Justin Allgaier, stage 2, and I mentioned already, Allgaier also currently has the fastest lap. Eric Almirola has closed the gap on Justin Allgaier, though, as they battle for the race lead at the front of the field. Long run speed going into the 19. He's managed his tires better. Got a lap car right in front of these two. That would be Kyle Sieg in the 28. Near contact off the exit of turn 2 as Almirola's clear. Didn't slide too far off the race lead, but did a great job managing his tires, and Eric Almirola's back out in front here at Phoenix, though the battle not done yet. Didn't get up off the exit of the corner very well. Lap car didn't give him a lot of room. Didn't give him a lot of room on entry either. Almirola to the bottom. Same power move. Allgaier goes back to the outside, which he took the lead away back at stage 2. And up off the exit of the corner, they're still side by side for the lead. 56 laps to go with where we're at right now. 55 to go at the line. Still only about halfway through stage 3. And still out from the final pit stop yet, though we are in the final fuel window. All these teams only have 1 set of tires left, so they're really trying to go as far as they can here first. Haven't seen anybody hit the pits. What a battle, though, between these two, kind of picking up where they left off from stage 2. Almirola all over the back of the 7. They've been cleanly battling with each other, too. It's been aggressive, it's been hard, but they've done a great job. We'll see if they continue to do that. 54 to go at the line here. Allgaier out ahead by about 2 to 3 car lengths that time. Got a 5-second, make that now about 6.5 seconds, back to Brandon Jones in 3rd. Sammy Smith's got an issue in the 8 car. Some smoke coming out of the back of that race car. I'm not sure if that... Yep, caution's out. So, yeah, caution's out. 74 of Dawson Cram has cracked the wall in turns 1 and 2, and his right rear tire's flat. So that might have been the reason for the caution. I don't think that had anything to do with Sammy Smith there, but interesting. Caution flags out. That looked like a pretty hard impact there for Cram. He was running off the lead lap at the time of the incident. Quite a bit of damage to the back of his race car. Right rear was flat for a while, all the way at the... Oh, this is going to be a nasty hit. Wow. Driver's side door first. Kind of smacked it with the left rear, pancaked the driver's side door. That's a tough angle to hit there. Cram is out of the car under his own power, which is good to see. Some damage on the right rear of the 8, so it looked like the smoke might have been from a tire rub. Also, Cram, yeah, okay, never mind. I was going to say something there, but... For a second, it looked like he was mad at somebody. I thought he was going to throw his helmet, but that's not the case. He was just upset getting into the back of the car. That's where the damage came about on the 8. Looked like he had gotten loose in 1 and 2 after contact somebody else that was just behind him, and then maybe cut the tire down once they got into 3 and 4. I think Sammy Smith's going to be able to hold on to the lead lap. I don't know that he was on pit road and changed tires quite yet. Yeah, he was about to pit, and he was slow on his way to pit road. The caution came out, he aborted the pits, and now he's still in fifth. So that's a very lucky caution for Sammy Smith. He'll still remain up in the top 5. Good run for Sammy so far today. One of his better tracks. So again, the fuel window's open. Final set of tires about to go in the car for a lot of these teams. I'm sure some will stay out in the hopes that we get another caution a little later into this run. We still got quite a few laps left, really. 51 to go. By the time we restart, we'll probably be down around 45 to go, give or take. Things are getting interesting. Pit road's still not open. We got safety equipment down at the bottom of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Oh, no, it is open. Never mind. Usually be closed in that scenario.
Stop. Big stop coming. Let's go to progressive pit road, Kim.
Yeah, and for Eric Alcarola, he said he still needs more ladder. He's like, I need something to lean on. Justin has way more to lean on. But he begged, he said multiple times, please do not hurt my turn. They're going to take fresh tires, slight air pressure. It doesn't look like a little slow on the right rear there as we move to Brandon Jones. Brandon said he just feels like he's somewhat disconnected overall. That team told him the roll speed entry to center was the weakness. Dylan.
And Cam, for Justin Allgaier, his biggest request, don't hurt my security. But he said he was tight in the apex, loose on corner exit. Jim Coleman can make an air pressure adjustment to help the center turn. Alex Bowman also wants to turn the center better. They fixed a couple problems at the last couple of stops, but he's still tight. They'll make an air pressure adjustment as well on the 17.
Execution is huge. And now the race off progressive pit road. Allgaier wins it. Bowman goes +2. Jones, Spray, and Love, your top 5. Big finish coming in Phoenix. Stay with us. We're live on CW.
Big pit stop for Alex Bowman, getting him back more than likely to the front row. I'd have to imagine 2 spots gained from 4th to 2nd. Almirola lost several positions, was in 2nd. To see where he came out. Justin Allgaier, obviously, up at the front of the field. It looks like Kyle Sieg might have been the only driver that stayed out of the pits. Everybody else came down for fuel and tires. We'll see if Sieg actually restarts up at the front of the field. So he'll save an extra set of tires just in case we catch a late caution. And it keeps quite a few drivers from being able to take the wave around too. And maybe do the same strategy, so we still have only 22 cars on the lead lap. Like the pit stop for Sammy Smith having to pull the right rear fender out from the right rear tire. So he's now last on the lead lap and 22nd for this restart. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, here we go. Things are getting interesting here at Phoenix.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, taking innovation to new heights for a century. To the Goodyear blip. You're watching live coverage of the GOVX 200 NASCAR Xfinity Series, racing in the desert for the 47th time. Been an entertaining afternoon. So many exchanges at the front of the field today. Three cars have really been dominant. Justin Allgaier, Alex Bowman, and Eric Almirola. But the big stop of the afternoon just happened under caution, and unfortunately some problems for the 19. We'll get to that in a moment. First, we go on board with William Sawalich. The rookies had an eventful day.
I think he's passed most cars here today.
It
He's
no
got to be
doubt.
close to winning that award.
Has to have passed the most cars.
And now we get our Race Fifth health report brought to you by Fred Street.
So he says he loses 2 to 3% of body weight through sweat loss. That definitely probably happened today. After all the work he's put in.
I always just drank as much fluid as I could. I see, like, I guess it's so you don't have to go to the bathroom. But, you know, if you have to go, Parker, you know what you do? You go, right? You just gotta have plenty of fluids, though.
You're one of those guys that goes.
I was.
Oh,
100%.
I've never done it.
Never bugged me.
Knock on wood, I've never done it.
Yeah.
I was trying. That 2 to 3% of body weight loss, I'm probably about a 10 to 15%.
You are a sweater.
I'm a big sweater.
It's a cooling mechanism. I saw it when you were eating that tomahawk with those tongs. There was sweat pouring off it.
Oh,
Going to do the choose here for what could be our final and maybe biggest restart of the day.
I find that a little surprising. I would have thought the leader was gonna maybe go to the outside here late. We saw especially how good the 7 was being on the outside. I just think it's an easier position for him, but maybe judging off the
Almirola goes inside row 3. Here's his pit stop. Kent referenced issues. He lost 5 positions.
yeah, just take a look at the rear here. It's just slow, is basically what it is. He's a little bit slow on the right rear, and that compounds to the left rear as well. It looks like maybe the jack band.
Yeah,
Right,
just
he
like
didn't get all the way
Bob.
up.
Yeah.
That's the problem there. So that's what held him up.
it doesn't take much to lose 5 spots here.
And here's a tough thing. This is not an incredibly long run. It's about what we had in stage 1 and stage 2. Going to go green with 46 to go. And that's obviously if we stay green and don't get any cautions.
No, and they're going to be more aggressive right now than they've been all day long, knowing that this could be that last green flag run that they're going to have.
Row 2, Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, the teammates. A lot of Joe Gibbs love up there. Jesse Love's been quiet today. Restarts outside of row 3 into 2. Second here a year ago. Restart. 46 remains at Phoenix.
Another massive launch by Joe Slaughter. I think that's why I took him on him. He knows the launches he would get, and so they're going to go 3 wide behind him.
Yeah, he didn't care. He's like, I'm going to have whatever lane I want when I get down there to get such a good launch.
You see, look at Eric trying to get to the inside right here. He's going to have a little bit of a run on the inside of the 54. It's going to have the momentum to also get the 20. Maybe 2 in one corner.
Oh, man, that was a squeeze.
Contact with he and Brandon Jones. Teammates again. We see contact all 3 of those cars actually out of the Joe Gibbs camp. And he really had to take that risk right now, too. So important to get by these 2. He wants a chance to go up there and battle the 17-7. He cannot let them get too far out ahead.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive move, but it has paid off for him, as you see. 3rd place exiting turn 2.
And look at the lead. I mean, Bowman is not letting Allgaier get away. And here comes Eric Almirola trying to complete the pass for 3rd, put himself back in the mix.
And it's impressive to see how deep Eric can actually drive into the corner, get on the brakes, and still stay committed to the bottom.
Yeah, Brandon Jones is probably not as impressed as we were with this move, but you just got to think that Eric moves the pressure on him right now to get by these cars, try to make up for that slow pit stop and get these positions back, because if he lets those 2 out front get clean air too far away, even with all the speed that race must be a tall task to get back.
Yeah, and Parker, I just think if you're in Brandon Jones' position, you got to know this might be the last restart. You know they're going to be aggressive and they're going to force the issue on him.
Ryan Sieg is up to 6. Just can't say enough about the effort that team has put in today.
And Sieg's going to want to go to a backup car every week if he continues the pace he's on today.
Don't let his team hear that.
Right.
So there you would have.
Oh, a little battle for the lead right here, guys. You see Bowman trying to get to the inside, but we've seen this quite a bit. Justin's able to hang on as they get down into turns 1 and 2. You see just how good that 17 car is. He makes the track as short as he can, kind of messes your angle up down here
See, Justin's able to drive it really deep and roll that top. And this is where Justin is so strong. Down here in 1 and 2, he just diamonds the corner away. That allows him a huge run on the exit there on the top side. And we saw that when Eric was trying to get by him. Justin would get to the outside of there, and it was game over for the inside car.
Well, play the Jaws theme music because Eric has showed up to the party. He wants to participate with these guys as well.
And the crew is cheering him on. I mean, they said we had a bobble on pit road. Don't let that be the difference in us winning here today and not getting the trophy.
What about these two guys, Sawalich and Sam Mayer? I feel like they have been together all day long, racing back and forth, coming up through the field.
That's because they've had to go to the back, right? I mean, they're connected at the hip. And here they are late in the race, making a splash top 10. Jesse Love trying to finish strong.
We talked about him early on when he had that contact with Connor Zilic early, and we really haven't. I mean, he's just consistently in the top 10 all day, but haven't seen a lot of Jesse Love.
How good are you when it's been a quiet afternoon and you're in the 7th spot? At a track where your team does not generally perform well, he gets that position around C.
I think it's been a strong run for Jesse Love, and I know this race team is probably be looking for more, especially out today. And just, like, you know, their history here, the speed he's shown at times, but it's just, this place is so technical. It's such a fine line between being fast or just being a little off in balance and suddenly not having the speed you want. And it just, once you don't have it, you can pound on both sides and really affect your day.
Yeah, and they've already won a race this year. They don't want to come here and run 7th. They want to win more races, build more playoff points to get ready for the end of the season.
Daniel Dye bringing it late. It's Carson Quapple inside of his teammate. 16 is Christian Eckes. The 10th finding something in the late going.
It's interesting because the one car, Carson Quapple, we saw him up a little further earlier in the race. It almost looked like they were getting the car better and better, but he's faded here just a little bit as we're closing in on the end of this race.
The sense of urgency is, look at Harrison Burke. Sammy Smith trying to make a bit of a comeback there.
It's been a struggle for that 16 car. Christian Eckes calling, you know, they're just like barely seeing the top 10 here right now in the 13th position and just not obviously having a balance inside that race car. Did a good job of just trying to muscle some positions on restarts and get the best they can out of it. But I think once again, Collins's be looking to rethink how they attack Phoenix.
Teammates for 4th. 54, black and yellow Toyota Taylor Gray. Bright green machine, Brandon Jones, the 20. Won this race 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I know Brandon Jones looked like he was in contention to win this not long ago, but I'm going to tell you, if he can come home with a top 5 finish based on the start of their season and kind of where they ended last year, he's going to be thrilled.
He needs that to turn this around. Those last 2 years has been a real tough thing to watch for a Brandon Jones fan, considering how good he was just a couple years ago in these Joe Gibbs cars. Thought he would start the season with some more momentum, but sort of picked up where he left off at the end of Junior Motorsports. But this is the Brandon Jones at Joe Gibbs Racing we're used to seeing.
Oh, much needed run. This veteran driver from Atlanta felt like going back to Joe Gibbs Racing really opened the door for success.
Yeah, Brandon's finally able to clear him. We'll see if he's able to get away or if Taylor's going to get another run on him like we've seen all day in that lead group. Parker Retzlaff finally cleared Carson Wobble. He's been working him over on the outside lap after lap after lap. It just seems like that one car could not get through the middle of the corner as this race moves on.
Look at that A. I mean, the caution comes out when they were having the issue. So you lose a ton of track position, was running in the top 5 before they had their problem, but it's trying to make something of it late as well. Just so hard to get to this stage of the run and you're in traffic.
And everyone's been able to work on their cars. So this is the hardest time of the day to be able to make passes. Everyone's had multiple stops to work on their cars, and now you really are in a position where they're not struggling as much at this point. They don't have big discrepancies in speed. Everyone sort of tightens up in speed in the field, and it's just harder to grind your way through the field if you've lost that.
Connor Zilic, 88, most recent winner, and was running top 5 after the opening stage today. Had the issue on pit road, and I feel like since that time he's been 8 to 12 a good portion of the day once they recovered and restarted around 20.
And I think that goes hand in hand with what Parker just said, as everyone has been able to work on their car. You have to continue to get your car better. If the 88 started out the day, the best they've been, it's hard because as everybody is saying, hey, some of these other guys, they get their car better, it's hard to maintain that position. Look how loose he just got
in the middle of turns 1 and 2 trying to get by Alex Bowman.
He's been begging for something to lean on, and I don't think they found it yet in that 19 car. He wants more Riker Griffin, and they just haven't been able to give it to him.
31 laps to go. The advantage for Justin Allgaier over a second. Alex Bowman is second. Almirola is third. Let's hear from Team 7.
We're gonna have a 19 race with a performance overall.
Well, they're watching the lap times like we are, and the 19 is a little bit quicker, but the 19's got a big problem, and that's the 17 car right in front of him, because catching and passing, two totally different things. And if you look at those top 3 lap times, they're all really similar. And I think if Eric can get by Bowman, there may be a chance to run down Allgaier, but the laps are winding down, guys.
25, Harrison Burton. 16, Christian Eckes.
Ooh.
Oh no. We talked about it earlier in the day. Sort of compress off of turn 2 there. Even when you make what you think is a somewhat clean pass, you will have a contact at times off that corner, the way it comes together. That was a little later and a little harder than you'd want. But he's still got a shot on the inside of Christian Eckes here. Yeah, and it's so cool to watch the composite bodies. And, you know, back in the day when they were metal, when you hit, it just stayed in and stayed smashed. You'd have a tire up. It was so cool to see Harrison Burton's Finford Tour like compress and then pop back right out, and you wouldn't even know he was involved in any contact. Oh yeah, you can hit these things so hard. You can hit the wall and you'll be like, oh, this thing's killed. They're like, no problem, no problem. No discuss. You see Eckes a little frustrated right there with Harrison Burton kind of praying him up the racetrack, and that's going to put Harrison in the clutches of Parker Retzloff and a gang cars right there.
He's worked in clutches and gang right here in one set.
That is great vocabulary education.
And for Harrison, you were so close to being clear of all this, and now you've been sucked back into this gaggle, as you put it, of cars. And then it becomes so tough because you're playing defense at the same time as trying to play offense. Parker Retzloff gives him a little tap in the left side door, let him know he's there. And that's sort of the thing where you then lose time as Christian Eckes gets away. That's frustrating when you're in Harrison Burton's position because you've worked so hard to get there, and then it just all taken away at one point.
Yeah, he's like, just give me a break, guys. I'm trying to get it gathered up and get straight here, and everybody keeps beating up on me.
I'm faster than all of you. I was passing that. Right.
All this happening inside the top 15. There'll be 25 laps to go next time around.
It is really cool to see that kind of aerial shot and all the different lines that everybody runs on this racetrack. And because of those seams that you see, you can really see the different lines that everybody is trying to run, and everybody's searching for clean air and searching for grip. And it's different for all those cars where they're finding that.
3 rookies in the top 10 late, among them Nick Sanchez. Kim.
Yeah, the white and orange 48 machine, and this team very happy with their performance here today in this race. They came in today with a lot of questions, a lot of head scratching. How to figure this place out? In fact, hadn't figured it out. Practice. They described it as being a very rough practice session. The car was extremely tight, but preaching Patrick Donahue assured me they got him in the right direction. Currently running in the top 10 in that 10th position. Sam Mayer, the 41, you talked to Lee about how he describes this racetrack as a place he has not gotten along with in his Xfinity Series career. He rebounded from an early speeding penalty. It was interesting. I talked to him before the race. What was his plan? He said, you can have a plan here until you get punched in the face. Well, he got punched in the face still with that speeding penalty, but he has come back strong, currently running in that 10th position.
Cam, we talking about the advantage of Connor Zilisch having a win in the bag and how that changes their approach going forward. Marty Lindley, the crew chief, said this morning, stage points and playoff points now is one of our main goals. An extra 40 of those is ultimately their goal before they get to the playoffs. That's lofty but doable if they do things right. So far today, they've done pretty well at that and scored the 5th most points with 7 total. So Zilisch running just outside the top 10 right now in the 11th spot.
And Zilisch, a rookie, as is Daniel Dye, currently running in the 12th position. When I talked to him this morning, he's very confident because he ran Phoenix last year in the Xfinity Series car. Felt like he learned a lot, had a lot from his notebook. Said the fire off wasn't great, but they feel like their long run speed was going to be really good. It's showing right now, currently in the 12th position. Right behind him, his teammate Christian Eckes in the 13th position. When I talked to crew chief Alex Young before the race, he said, we could run a fast lap to save our lives, but we had really good long run speed. Currently, again, Eckes in the 13th position, Dylan.
Harrison Burke just behind him in the 14th spot. Just another base hit type of day, which is what they need after a tough showing at Coda. Had a bad finish, but ran decent there. Felt like they could have had another top 10. Harrison told me earlier today, everybody on this team is still learning each other. And he said, for me personally, it feels like I've never even driven an Xfinity car. They've changed so much since I last ran them. So getting through the first 3 weeks, relatively unscathed is good. Now they can do some true R&D and learn each other, and Harrison can learn this Xfinity series again.
Yeah, this has been one of the great stories early in 2025. Harrison Burke, AM Racing. $20 laps to go. Riding on board with Garrett Smithley with DozerWinchParts.com onboard camera. And now we go back to the front, the battle for second. 17, Eric Almirola. That car finished second last week with William Byron behind the wheel. Eric Almirola was really good earlier this season, third at Atlanta. And they're going at it here as Justin Allgaier tries to drive away. 1.4 seconds, the advantage for the 7 with 19 to go.
Eric hasn't finished worse than third in the last 4 races in the Xfinity race. These Joe Gibbs cars has been so impressive, but I think Justin Allgaier's best friend right now is Alex Bowman in that 17 car because he has held up Eric, and Eric's having to move his line, as you see in 3 and 4, running the outside, trying to find clean air and find some momentum on Alex Bowman to try and get by him. I think if he did, he might have the speed, but Alex has been able to hold him up, and it's let Justin get out to a 1.6 second lead. Yeah, and he wants to happen what happened right there. He needs a pick of one of the lap cars to hold up the 17 when he has a little bit of a run. He's running high down here in 3 and 4, which not the preferred line. The bottom is definitely the place to be, but he's doing that. And I think Bowman countered when he saw those runs that the 19 was getting. It looks like, oh, not going to be able to clear him. I think he countered with that, Parker, seeing the run that Eric was getting on the exit of the corner. And I think he was listening to you. He might have been, yes. Well, he needs to go high, too, if he's listening to me. Because Eric's over there, is outside. If he can stay there to the exit, that's going to give him that preferred groove down in 3 and 4 he was using so well. He's got the momentum. This is what he needed to make the pass. Yeah, but Eric's going to need a caution in order to catch Justin Allgaier. He definitely seems like he's a little quicker, and we'll see what kind of laps he can put together right now because he's going to have a clean lap. Well, the 7 car's still really quick out. Justin does have a lot of traffic ahead of him that he's going to be catching in the next couple laps. This could really tighten up. It's how you get through that traffic that's going to matter most. And now Eric has been released from the shackles of behind that 17 car, can go and use all the speed that he's had. And the leader almost always gets raced harder than second place. They'll have to fight a little bit harder, these guys. They'll fight the leader to try to stay on the lead lap, not go a lap down in case you get that caution late. And as we look at those lap times right now, Eric's still just a little bit quicker being out front.
22 cars on the lead lap, 15 to go. Allgaier's led 108 laps today. That's the most laps he's ever led here. But I will say this, let's not forget what happened here last spring when he was dominating this race, led over 50 laps. You get inside of 5 to go, you kind of tire. I mean, it is absolutely never over till it's over. And if anybody knows that, it's Allgaier who's leading as we hit 14 remaining.
Yeah, the issue happened to him with the blown tire, but the one thing we've seen here a lot, you see those cautions come out at the worst possible time if you're the leader.
Go back to it. Here's what happened to him. I mean, on cruise control, right? Gonna get his 3rd victory here. All going well. Then down into turn 1. There it goes.
I was just speechless when that happened. I'm like, how does that happen that late in the run? Normally people blow a tire out. It happens kind of earlier in the run with the sidewall getting broken down. Like, what we thought happened to that 7 car.
There was all discussions of him using that line he does down in 3 and 4 where he gets real low on the paint. Did he hurt it there? Did he hurt it going through the shortcut, the dog leg, and how aggressive and bumpy it is through there? There's no telling. I think this time around, if he does have a lead like that with 5 to go, he might take a little easier, but Eric Almirola started to catch him at lap 33 the last run. We just hit lap 33 right now.
And the throwing of that deck lid was just as disappointing as the tire. But when actually picked it up, chucked it, and fell right back in place.
I'll say this, though, and you saw it in the bumper just a second ago. He's won a race now in 8 consecutive seasons. So if he wins today or any time this year, that would be 9 in a row. It would put him on par with Kyle Busch and Mark best all time in the Xfinity Series. If you're going to chase somebody down, those are two pretty good ones at this level of race.
Great company to be in.
Let's talk about a late caution. Last three Phoenix races have ended in overtime. Allgaier doesn't want that to happen. 11 remaining. And the racing is so good everywhere that certainly could get a yellow flag. And if we did, it would be our 6th of the day. This is Eckes and Retzlaff.
Oh yeah, I thought the 16 might have been a little upset at the 4 as they drove down into turn 3. And again, it's that caution. Looks like Parker has cleared him. And the 4 car all day long, it looks to me like it's better on the long run than a lot of cars.
Really competitive day for them. Alpha Prime, from the devastation of last week having 2 cars miss the race, to right now have 2 in the top 20. Brennan Poole in 20th and Clark Retzlaff right here just outside the top 10 at 14th. That's a competitive day for that race team.
Oh, if you're Justin Allgaier with 10 laps to go, you're just hearing everything. You're hearing the crush panels getting sprayed with rocks as you run around the racetrack, just praying that you're not going to have a caution. And what a think about the day, the last 2 days that they've had at this track. They win the championship the last time we were in Phoenix here in November, and then to come back and be able to win this race after the devastation, as you pointed out, of blowing out the tire last spring.
He's getting that information because Eric Almirola was just 0.2 a lap faster on that last lap as the one of Carson Quapple might have this year.
Yeah, that's
Sparks,
mate.
I see Sparks. It looks like he's on a low right front.
Can he get back to pit road?
Man, that's 2 weeks in a row. Quapple's had a tire down late.
Flat on that car.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
Ooh,
Yep.
that'd be terrible if your teammate brought the caution out.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing took him out late at Coda. Had that right front go down after battling for the lead. Take a look here. See, oh, there it goes down.
Brake rotor.
Wow.
We'll be interested to see if they throw a caution for that.
I'm going to tell you this. If they don't, his teammate's going to say, thank you very much. You did a really good job of hanging on to that thing under those circumstances. Allgaier working lap traffic. Saw 7 to go last time around.
Almirola was once again 0.2 a lap faster. Has cut that lead down by half a second. The last 2 laps is down below 1.5 seconds. And Justin's going to continue to be in some traffic here as we go further towards the end of this race.
Yeah, he's going to have a couple laps here, though, the cushion with lap traffic being just a little bit ahead, which will help him out because the problem is when they get too long, it crushes your lap times. You just don't have any break.
Eric was 0.3 a lap faster than that last lap.
1.1 the advantage. It'll be 5 remaining this time. 19 maybe saving the best for last. Talked about how good Joe Gibbs Racing is here. Almirola 3 wins last year. A lap car separating the 7 and 19.
Eric is running a way higher line than Justin. Completely different line. It's a different line than most of the lap cars are running, so he's able to get by them pretty quickly. It's the 70 of Annunziata in front of him. And really, he's running this line that no one else is up there. As you see just behind him, that green and white car all the way up next to the wall.
And that benefits the 19 so much when he does get to Justin because he's not going to have to change his lineup getting there, right? If you're running the same line and then you catch him and you have to change it up, that's really hard. But the fact that he's able to produce a lap time and not be in the wake of the 7 car, be really good for him if he's able to get there.
Showing 1.2 now the advantage with 4 to go for Allgaier.
You see there, with that green car all the way up next to the wall. We've got a car in the wall.
There's a caution. 07 of Nick Lights produces the caution.
It's always guys that are running at the back of the pack.
That's so Warped Tour car.
Oh my goodness.
Lights was running 27th, and the stress of the crew chief who was 3 laps away from seeing the white flag and knowing I don't have to deal with this anymore.
And I'm going to say they just expected it. And if it didn't happen, it was a bonus. But I think you just have to almost expect that. And that's why Jim was giving you the updates of the lines so that if you do get one of these restarts, that maybe Justin could adjust his line for that.
Take a look what happened here. Off of 4. Oh, he has
tire
that's a tire going down.
I was going to say, looked like it.
Yeah.
I mean, not
the debris.
similar, but the debris coming out did look a lot like what we saw from Quapple. He was running 27th.
I know. Is it the right front? The right rear definitely was not down. It just looked like he ran over a chunk of rubber that fell out of the car.
So maybe the debris. Yeah.
This is the way that car snaps so quickly. Something went wrong in a hurry.
Yeah, but the right rear was up.
Yeah.
And if the right front blew, you would go head on. Like it something doesn't add up right there. Did you see that there was a big chunk of rubber that came out? And I almost wonder if like that had built up on the crush panels or the rocker panel and it fell out. He just ran over that and got the car loose.
21 cars being shown on the lead lap. Mason Massey, the first, a lap down, but he's 2 laps down. So he'll get the free pass, but only gets back to 1 in arrears. So you got 21 on the lead lap. You don't have any sticker tires. I mean, you're not going to give up track position at the front, no question about that. But I mean, could you come down and glue up some of those scuffs and take them on if you're 15th on back? Is there any opportunity here to make up some position?
If you're that deep, sure.
Tires they were on before that they took off so many laps on them as well.
Yeah, because that run was long enough.
It's very long.
I agree.
So you're really not in that position. The key here for Justin Allgaier or Eric Almirola is keep them clean. You see them weaving here. You want to keep these tires clean, keep them prepped through this whole caution phase, and hope that they're in the right position when you launch.
And the 7 car's just got to get the same launch he's had the last 2 restarts. If he gets that, he's going to be in good position. If they have to race side by side through turns 1 and 2, that allows that opportunity of the guy in 3rd or 4th to then make it 3 wide. And we have seen in the past here, when they get 3 or 4 wide, it's anybody's race.
This would be one of the most difficult restarts you do all year on these late tires. The way the restart zone is here, where it's still sort of in the corner on the banking, it's very easy to spin those rear tires when they're this worn out.
Okay. Yeah, these are some of the older tires. We just don't anticipate anybody that's going to be a threat to win this race would come down pit road. As we said, no one has sticker tires. You had 3 sets lane for the race, and everybody has made a pit stop and got those. I want to say this, though. I mean, our focus is going to be on Allgaier, Almirola, and even Bowman, right? Because of the dominance they've shown in this race. You get a late restart, you know how crazy they are here. What an opportunity for a Brandon Jones who's looking to end a winless streak. Taylor Gray, who's looking to get his first career win. Ryan Seeks up there. William Sawalich. There are some names in the top 10 that could check the box if this were to get wild and out of control, and it is not beyond the realm of possibility because Phoenix is one of those that really on restarts, you just never know how it's going to play.
Especially on older tires. We see those 3 and 4 wide
We
moves.
haven't had that yet.
Yeah, we haven't had
unknown
that.
with that.
And when you get cars spinning tires through this restart zone, it can really sort of break up the field or cause a lot of congestion. And then you end up 3, 4, 5 wide down into turn 1 on older tires, and someone shooting the bottom and clears himself up. It turns into mayhem, basically.
Oh, they'll want to clear themselves here. They won't wait on the spotter to say clear. If they think they're clear, they're going to slide up.
I've seen it a couple
Yeah,
times.
I've done it. Yeah, that's right.
We say the last 3 races here have finished in overtime. I would say, double overtime, triple overtime is possible.
Real possibility. Love to know what Justin's thinking right now on this restart and what he wants to do, what that team's talking about. You think back to Atlanta when they made that decision to go to the inside lane. They're like, look, we came here to win. Love to know what those guys are saying.
But let's go back to the choose that we had in our most recent restart. Allgaier goes inside, and you were caught off guard by that just a little bit. It worked for him. Like, what do you anticipate we see here in that regard?
It did, and what I would say is that he must have felt like he could get that launch, like more grip off the bottom to accelerate it, get them cleared. But as Parker mentioned, this is just a total different animal for all these guys. And the problem is inside the car, once you start spinning the rear tires, it's over because you panic trying to give it more throttle to make up for the ground you're losing, and it just gets worse.
I see Mike Allgaier comes to so many of these races, was here when Justin celebrated that championship last November. And well, he's quiet, doesn't show a lot of emotion, but inside, I don't care how old your kid is. You always want to see them have success. This relationship is so special.
Well, and I think that's harder on dad than it is Justin right now. You want to see your kid succeed and all the work he's put in for today, and then all of a sudden it could get taken away. It's much harder to be on the sidelines watching your kid than to be in the car.
And you can't do anything, right? You're
Helpless.
You're helpless bystander watching it here. The pits are open. I don't anticipate the leaders coming down, but as you mentioned, Adam, maybe some people would want to put some cooler tires on, even if they have similar laps on them towards the back.
It's like everybody says we're all good.
Pit road's not very busy right now.
Carson Quapple, gonna make a stop. A few others actually coming down pit road.
I would take the track position, I think, at this point, in the race versus a little bit fresher or cooler tires.
These guys are on the lead lap, so maybe they can make a play late, especially if things get out of hand. Let's go to our last restart, and this is a preview of what could be coming up here.
Yeah, you see the 7, the massive launch that he got inside Alex Bowman, but then look behind Parker. It just gets crazy as they get down into turn 1, start fanning out, and everybody's looking for some track clean air.
And I'd say for Phoenix, that was kind of a tame one.
Yeah.
That one,
He's not lying.
Restart. What I'm interested to see in the choose here for Justin Allgaier, as you're describing, he has used the bottom to get great restarts. But Eric Almirola was making all of his time on the top side of the racetrack in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do you want to give him the chance to get that preferred line he was making so much time in, or do you take it away by taking the top side?
Had they told him yet? We heard them talking about the line that 19 was running, but everything I heard was like turn in a little earlier, get to the bottom earlier, which made me think that was earlier in the run, not towards the end. And if you are the 19, you're thrilled to be on the outside because you're committed. There's some grip on the top. Just as long as, under the caution, as guys swerve back and forth, you see those little pieces of rubber fall off. Well, those tend to get to the outside of the racetrack more than to the bottom.
And you know your visuals. When you've been running that line, you know visuals that Justin, who has not been up there, doesn't know. So if he does choose to go to the top, he also has to figure that out so quickly that first time into turn 1.
Overtime. In Phoenix. It's going to be good. We'll have it for you when we return.
Now the 4th consecutive race at Phoenix for the NASCAR Xfinity Series to go into overtime. So we're about to find out how this one is going to end up. It looks like Justin Allgaier and Eric Almirola are going to be the 2 in the front row. They haven't gotten to the 1 to go signal yet to see which lane everybody will restart in, but the control car has been on the inside of row 1 for every restart to this point in the race. Our goal for the live stream today was 50 likes. We did get to 50 here just moments ago, so appreciate everybody that's hit the like button. Actually, no, never mind. I just refreshed it. Yeah, never mind. We are at 50. It went back down to 49 and right back to 50 again. I appreciate everybody hitting that like button. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to do so. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live commentary every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. This is our second stream of the day. We had practice qualifying for the Cup Series earlier this afternoon, so we'll double header Saturday for you. And we'll be live again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for our live commentary coverage of the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix for the NASCAR Cup Series. Justin Allgaier has dominated in the laps led. He won a stage. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He's led 128 of just over 200 laps we've ran now as we go into overtime past the scheduled distance. Eric Almirola has led for a little bit today, as well as Alex Bowman. Those are the only 3 drivers to lead. Bowman won stage 1 from the pole, 49 laps led for him, 24 for Almirola. And we are definitely setting up for a wild finish yet again. Thanks for Allgaier to have that lead. Almirola was closing in on him pretty quickly, cut the lead down to a second, and there was still about 4 laps to go. It was definitely looking like it was more Allgaier's than Almirola's down the stretch, but now it could be anybody's. He should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. Take you to the end of this one here. I would imagine that Alex Bowman will take the inside of row number 2, but we shall wait and see. He didn't have a great restart when he was on the outside the last time. Actually lost quite a bit of ground. Oh, Bowman stays high. All right, well, interesting. Going to try it again, I guess. So Bowman's going to be outside of row 2. He was in 3rd. Brandon Jones, who was in 4th, will be on the inside of row 2. And if he gets a better launch than the 2 cars in front of him here, he can go down to the apron if he so chooses to try to take this 3 wide for the lead. Now, you cannot pull down to the apron until you cross the start-finish line. So you have to be careful not to jump the restart that way. You do have to stay in line until you get to the start-finish line, and then you can cut down and cut the dog leg. 1 mile racetrack, 2 miles to go in the race. And who will get the win? Pace car's already down on pit road. And here we go. Justin Allgaier, Eric Almirola, front row. Almirola going to hold him tight as they enter the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Good launch for both the front row cars. Almirola holding on strong on the outside, door to door for the lead. Everybody down to the apron through the dog leg. As they enter turn one, Almirola might have the positioning. On the 7 of Allgaier. Allgaier going to get loose and run him up the track. Almost into the wall. Wide for the lead. And it's Alex Bowman who comes out with it. Oh my goodness. The 7 ran the 19 out of room, but the race ain't over yet. Alex Bowman up the middle, 4 wide to the lead. Almirola's in second. Allgaier fell to 4th. Brandon Jones is 3rd. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Almirola with a desperation move down to the apron through the dog leg. Trying to gain ground on the 17 of Bowman. He drives it in deep into 1. Bowman wiggles. And here comes the 19 looking to the inside, but he had to lift. And Bowman wins the race back to the gas. Bowman almost rammed it into the wall off turn 2, and here comes Almirola. Everybody's pushing as hard as they can. Into 3 and 4. Bowman goes wide. The 19's underneath him. Who's going to get there first? There's contact against the wall. 3 wide at the line, and it's Almirola. Eric Almirola has won the race. He squeezed Bowman against the wall. Brandon Jones got to the inside of both of them as they crossed the stripe. Holy Hellacia, what a finish. Bowman had it until he didn't. Then he lost it. He's got his hand out the window. The desperation move from Eric Almirola to win is what that came down to at the line. Another Phoenix Xfinity Series photo finish in overtime. And again, it's a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota getting the job done this time. Eric Almirola. Part-time effort getting the win. Just his second Xfinity race of the season out of the 4. 4 different winners in the first 4 races of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season. And the first for Joe Gibbs Racing. Oh my gosh. I'm almost sweating over here. All hell broke loose on those final 2 laps. Any respectful racing we saw pretty much went out the window there. Almirola got squeezed against the wall, still fought back to win it. Bowman had a pretty decent gap on him until it looked like he might have clipped the wall off of turn 2. Almirola had a run getting down into 3, then Bowman went wide again through 3 and 4. Almirola got underneath him, had the nose out in front, and they got off the corner. If they had raced clean to the line, I don't know who would have won, but Bowman definitely would have had a better shot. So Almirola squeezing him against the wall was the desperation move to win it. Both those two still end up first and second. And Brandon Jones down to the bottom, only 0.07 of a second off the win, finishes in 3rd.
Comes back this year. He didn't really anticipate it happening. But once again, he's a winner, and he does it today in thrilling fashion.
Yeah, and I think when Bowman goes back and watches this, you see Eric Salu's trying to chase that thing up the racetrack. I'm going to say when Bowman goes back and watches that he's not going to be as upset maybe as he was in the moment.
And Alex was, he gave him the inside, which I think was smart, but Alex ended up pretty far out here, pretty high at this point. That's a tough space. You see how the rubber is up out there? That's really, no one has run up there at that time. It was tough hitting at the throttle down. That gave Eric the chance to get beside him.
And what Bowman's going to be upset there is if he had a little bit of a run coming on the outside. Oh, that's so cool.
Alex's son made the middle school baseball team. Eric said he wanted a new bat, so we got him one.
Maybe another.
Yeah, I was saying maybe a new glove is next. Got that Reds hat on, maybe watching some spring training baseball out here.
Oh, the other.
Another heartbreak for Allgaier.
Dominated the race and was in position to win before that caution comes.
2 spring Phoenix races in a row.
Allgaier ends up 5th. Eric Almirola, career win number 8 comes to Phoenix, Kim.
And the first win of the season for him. His son Alex with the checkered flag. Abby taking the helmet back to the car. Man, survived an overtime restart. Drag race to the finish with Alex Bowman. How did you hold him off?
I just knew I needed to get from there to here first. Yeah, I knew I was going to use them up a little bit, but trying to win the race, and I feel like it was warranted. I didn't think I did anything overly egregious. I just throttled up, and I knew it was going to be a drag race to the start finish line. So, just so proud of all the guys on this team. Our Young Life Toyota GR Supra was awesome, as fast as the Xfinity Internet. Thank you, everybody at Toyota. Thank you so much to Coach, and what a blessing this is. It is so much fun to come and drive these race cars. Every single time I get in, I feel like I got an opportunity to win, and I get to represent Jesus Christ and point teenagers and young adults to Christ with Young Life. And it's just, I didn't know what I was doing 2 months or 2 weeks before Daytona. I was planning on just helping at JGR and volunteering at church, and I got a phone call to come run some races. So what an opportunity, and so proud of Seth and all the guys on this team, everybody back at Joe Gibbs Racing that's building these race cars. Just having fun. This is so awesome. I get to do this with my family, and I'm just having a blast.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You mentioned Seth. That's Seth Chavkai's crew chief. Alex, wave that flag! Done.
And Kim, on the flip side is Alex Bowman, who comes home in the second spot tonight. You gave him the bottom on entry to 3 down here. Fair or foul, how it ended ultimately?
I mean, I would have hoped that he would have given me a lane on exit, but he just exited like I wasn't there, which he was better than us for sure, but just tried to capitalize on that restart and trying to win the race, and got shoved in the fence and the race car's destroyed. So bummer for that, but hats off to the HendrickCars.com crew. Everybody did a really good job. It's my first time working with Adam, and that was a lot of fun. Wish Mr. Hendrick had a win there, and I was just really loose in. I kind of melted the brakes off the thing behind the 7 earlier, the last run, and couldn't get in the corner like Eric could. And I don't know if he had me an arrow loose into 1 or if I just got loose myself, but I about spun out down there and figured my best bet was going to the outside there, trying to get off the corner, and there was no lane there anymore. So bummer, but you'll have that big time auto racing.
1 spot short today for Bowman.
17 car was second last week with William Byron and Coda. Second today with Alex Bowman. It was the second closest finish in the history of the Xfinity Series right here at Phoenix Raceway. Eric Almirola, in dramatic fashion, delivers. He's won it 5 for his last 17 starts. More Phoenix coming up.
Margin of victory just over 0.04 of a second between Eric Almirola over Alex Bowman, and then just over 0.07 of a second back to third place Brandon Jones, who sneaks in there. 4th place finish for Ryan Sieg from a backup car to a good run. Didn't even get the paint swapped off, or I should say the wrap swapped off of the primary to the backup, so he basically went mostly unsponsored for this race and ends up finishing in 4th. Justin Allgaier ends up in a 5th place finish. He was leading, obviously, when they ended up starting that final overtime restart. He led the most laps as well. 130 laps led for Allgaier. Again, 5th place finish. He won stage 2, and I believe he still had the fastest lap of the race as well, which was a 28.022. Taylor Gray finishes 6th. Sam Mayer, another top 10 in 7th. Christian Eck is 8th. Jesse Love 9th. Nick Sanchez, his first top 10 of the year, in 10th. And Parker Retzlaff, 11th. Josh Williams, 12th. William Sawalich, 13th. 14th, Sammy Smith. Jeb Burton, 15th. Connor Zillage, 16th. Brendan Poole, 17th. Kyle Sieg, 18th. Daniel Dye, 19th. And Harrison Burton, 20th. Jeremy Clements, 21st. First car lap down was Mason Massey in 22nd. Josh Malicki, 23rd. Blaine Perkins, 24th. Chris Wright, 25th. Carson Quapple, 26th. Matt DiBenedetto, 27th. Joey Gase, 28th. Garrett Smithley, 29th, and 30th was Nick Lights. Greg Van Ulst, 31st. Anthony Alfredo, 32nd. Ryan Ellis, 33rd. Thomas Annunziata, 34th. Dawson Cramp, 35th. Sheldon Creed, 36th. Austin Hill, 37th. Dean Thompson, 38th. 4 DNFs total. All crashed out of the race. 6 cautions. Overtime finish there. 2 hours, 15 minutes, 36 seconds. Total time under green. Moto finish, 3 wide at the line. 14 lead changes. 46 laps under the yellow total in today's race. That is going to wrap up today's live commentary coverage of the GOVX 200 at Phoenix Raceway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We will be live tomorrow on the channel at 3 p.m. Eastern for our NASCAR Cup Series race coverage, beginning with our pre-race. We'll go through some predictions, have some trivia at the start of that one. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's coverage of this Xfinity race, as well as this afternoon's coverage of practice and qualifying. Congratulations to Eric Almirola for winning his first Xfinity race of the 2025 season. Congratulations to William Byron for qualifying on the pole for tomorrow's Cup race earlier today, and we'll see what will happen on Sunday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Don't forget that the race will technically start an hour sooner tomorrow for most of us here in the U.S. Clocks will be changing forward for an hour. And I will see you guys back better than ever tomorrow afternoon. Once again, thank you all and have a good night.